I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like. I could be brown, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be hurtful, I could be purple, I could be anything you like.
You're watching Poindexter Lounge. You already know. You're watching Poindexter Lounge for the unity.
Why don't you set aside an hour or two? We'll have a few drinks and a cup of coffee I don't drink.
Hi, you're watching Poindexter Lounge. I'm choking on chicken.
Hey, you're watching Poindexter. That's great. I don't.
You are watching Poindexter Lounge.
That's great. I don't.
You are watching Poindexter. Thanks for the lights, Jay. Roger, Rose, and Call of Duty. I smell like onions and you're watching Poindexter.
That's great. I don't.
And now I'll make the point better. This joint's clever. In the lounge with Poindexter. So Poindexter Lounge, you know that we can get it in. And now I'm headed up like I'm Led Zeppelin.
Hi, you're watching Poindexter Lounge. Do you like nerd stuff? Yeah? Then you'll love this. You never know what might happen or who might show up at the lounge.
I just want to thank you for being here and being my friend. It's always good to have someone you could count on. And I'm glad you're that for me.
That's great. I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
Give me a bottle of anything and a glazed donut. To go.
My minute basis. Like to the point where I do, it's like.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stay right there. What are you doing? Okay, well, stay over there. You don't just get in somebody else's lane, sir. Thank you.
That is, he does.
You're in this lane. And you're not.
What's up, nerd family? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name, of course, is Enosh, and it is great to have you with me in the lounge today. Just know if this is your first time to the lounge, well, we're going to get back to the studio. Please know we will get back to the studio. And if you have been around the lounge for a long time, we are going to get back to studio shows as well. But for right now, while I'm trying to figure out some stuff in my personal life, we are doing the drive home, and that's what this is, the mobile lounge, the drive home, covering the topics that are important and waiting for some things to happen so that we can get on to some really cool stuff here at the channel in the next couple of months. But hey, welcome. If this is your first time to the lounge, just know that the Poindexter Lounge is a place for nerds. It's a place where you and me and all of my friends and your friends and whoever else you want to bring around, really, to be quite honest with you, we all get together and we talk about the things that we love. Things like TV shows, movies, games, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books, superheroes, toys, and so much more. And if those are things that get you excited, then hey, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And also hit that notification bell. Just helps us out, all right? Hit that like, and we would appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Also, I will tell you this. I'm going to give you fair warning because I know that there's some people who like stuff like this, and there's been some people who've actually reached out to me and asked me about this. And so there is going to be a rebranding coming pretty soon. I mean, we're still going to be Poindexter Lounge. Don't get me wrong about that. But new logo and stuff like that we're going to be having out there. New merchandise. So new merch. So there is a link down to our Teespring down below. A lot of you will remember, of course, our little cartoon, our caricature that Dawson actually made of me and the family for our Poindexter Lounge, stuff. I don't know, at the time, that was our branding. And so some great people, Speedo Kagan, who is a great friend of ours that, I still owe him a video. But Speedo Kagan was a guy who, long time ago when we first started the channel, a guy from Sweden. I've actually had him on the show before, and real great guy, graphic artist, and he did our intros for us. So like that little thing where you see Enosh, and everybody had their own little intro and stuff. Enosh, Landon, Isaac, Logan. So he took the caricatures that Dawson made and turned those into an animated thing that was pretty cool. But we also made merchandise, right? And so we have shirts and pillows and all that fun stuff at Teespring that has the old artwork. And people have asked me, like, are you going to take that stuff down? Because obviously Tiffany is on those things. And, yes, I am. So I'm just giving you fair warning that with the rebranding and everything, those will not be available anymore. So if you want to go old school, like if you want to get your old school fix in right now, I think I have 3 of those hoodies, of those old Poindexter Lounge hoodies with the whole family on it. And, it's our nerd family, thing. And who knows what the future may hold for other types of clothing, but go ahead, and if you want to pick that up, pick one of those up, because they will be gone here shortly, and you will not be able to get them anymore, because once I take them down, I'm going to be done with them. So the good thing about that is that it's on Teespring. So it's not like I ordered a ton of merchandise and have it sitting around with Tiffany's face on it, even her animated face. So there you go. So if you want something like that, to be able to just say, like, I've got one of these old Poindexter Lounge shirts from way back in the day, or whatever, I've got a throw pillow in my living room, big blue throw pillow that we got for the house that has that cartoon on it. It's kind of crazy, but anyways, today we got a lot to talk about. I haven't even looked at the comments section yet. What's up, everybody? What's going on? Good to see you. I don't know. Okay. What's up, Jared? What's going on, James? What's up, Ryan? What's up, Cherie? There's a couple things also that we got to talk about today that aren't even on the list, but we'll see if we get to them. Nerd Costa Nostra's here, obviously. Dial is here. Why are we getting another Matrix film? Well, because you know what? The last Matrix film really wasn't that bad. And there's a lot of people who are still watching that movie, and they're discovering it now. It just came out at a horrible time. I mean, let's be honest. But we're going to get into that here in a minute. I just want to say hi to everybody. What's up, Patrick? And David, what's up? Okay. That being said, I do have a co-host. Austin will be here later. But right now we have Nerd Cosa Nostra himself. What's up, my friend? Did I bring you in? I didn't bring you in. Hold on a second. Didn't bring you in. There he is. What's up, my friend?
What's up? How you doing?
I'm good. Apparently we're at church. There we go. Whoop, nope, that's not it either.
Oh, the background picture?
Yeah, I guess got to get the background out of there. All right, let me get the background out of there. Wait, hold a second. What did I do with my background shot thing? Oh, there it is. That's why. Okay. There we go. Look at us all cool and stuff with a red sun behind us. Well, it's either that or the daytime drive. I like this one too. This one's kind of cool. So what's up with you, Nerd Cosa Nostra?
Nothing much. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah, it's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday. Yes.
Just happy to have another day. Always
Amen
happy.
to that.
Always happy to have another day.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that.
Otherwise, it seems like there's been all of a sudden the last couple hours, like a lot of news is dropping.
I know.
Which I know some. I mean, there's even been within the past 10 minutes some newer news has dropped related to the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
So yeah, it's usually we get it like spread out throughout the day, but it seems like within the last hour, everyone decided to start dropping. Not necessarily rumors, but more like, hey, this could be coming, or this is in talks. Which I think some of this stuff were originally rumors, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it seems like it's been a busier afternoon than normal for entertainment news.
And it has, and like you said, it kind of all hit at the same time, because by the time I had a little minute to just kind of see, what's going on, and
yeah,
and I was like, oh, okay, this is going on. Oh, hey, there's a new Matrix movie. There's this, that, and I've been wanting to talk. About the Batman verdict for a minute, just because it was something that at the time was something that became a major deal.
Oh, the plagiarism lawsuit.
Yes.
Okay.
And
okay.
maybe I'll just start off with that, since everybody's aware of it and it's like old news now, and then we'll get into so everybody watching. First of all, that's awesome. Thank you. 50 people are watching right now. That is freaking awesome. And so we're going to get to all these stories and stories that aren't even on the list yet. But just bear with me here, first of all, about the Batman movie, because I did not get to share last week when that news dropped. It was Holy Week, and it was Good Friday, and I wasn't able to get it up. So here's the thing. Sean, Nerd Cosa Nostra, I don't know if you remember when all that dropped, I talked to Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our friends talked to Steve. Like, Steve was going on everybody's show, man.
Yeah.
And Steve was talking to people, and I don't even think, if I remember right, I'm trying to remember if I had Steve on or if I was on somebody else's show. I can't remember right now. I'd have to go back through my videos. But I talked to Steve and I asked him, and it was really ironic to me when what's up, Silent Scotty? It's really funny to me that almost verbatim, Cosa Nostra, the thing that I told him about his lawsuit was exactly what the judge told him.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of comical to me. And the only reason it's comical, look, I don't like to see anybody get mistreated. I don't, and if somebody really feels like, they were done wrong or something like that, look, have your day in court, right? I mean,
yeah.
That's what the court system is there for, right? So I don't begrudge anybody feeling like, okay, I was done wrong, I'm going to take them to court. And then you go and you let the court decide, right?
Yep.
You make your case and you let the court decide. The problem with Steve Wozniak is he thought that he wrote something unique.
Yeah.
And he just didn't. He wrote
that's what the judge found out. That's what the judge said too.
Right.
It's like what you're saying. It wasn't unique.
Right. It wasn't unique. I mean, because when he started talking about back then, even like the story elements and stuff, and it was like, well, dude, you just wrote a basic story with Batman characters in it.
Yep.
And all the stuff, I mean, like to act like writing a Batman story where the seedy underbelly of Gotham, is doing bad things, and Batman has to stop him. I mean, like,
which is the basis for literally every Batman movie, show,
comic. Yeah, like, and that's what I told him. I mean, I was trying not to be rude about it, because again, I'm not just a rude person, and so like, but I was asking him questions like, well, what exactly is unique about that? That's every Batman story, isn't it?
That's the thing. That's the thing. If you're gonna do something like this, it's got to be different from what's been previously done or what's currently in the works. How is your story going to stand out different than everyone else's for it to then garner attention, whether it's going to be a book, a comic, or even a film? So
right. Yeah. Well, and the other thing too about that is, or at least be hired by the company that you're plagiarizing, because I brought that up, and I thought, well, you know what, maybe that's a long shot because people write stories all the time, whatever. But it was really comical to me that the judge even said, no, actually, you plagiarized them by using their character. Nobody asked you to do this. You just did this. So,
yeah, I think the obviously like the official like suit language was that they advised him that it was blatant copyright infringement what he did for his story, because he was using Batman, he was using that character and all the surrounding elements that are protected under that law that DC or WB own. So why he didn't see that coming? Because that's just basic law, right? When you think about these types of properties they're not little properties people don't know about. This is a big property everyone knows about. Everyone knows who owns it. And if you're going to try and do something without permission, you're really opening yourself up to potentially a countersuit, right?
Well, DC has already countersued him. They countersued him.
Okay,
yeah,
I didn't
was
see that. Okay,
yeah, that was part of the thing, because they actually countersued him right after he sued them, because they said the same thing. They were like, no, those are our characters. And I think that this is something that, like, so I do want to point this out, and I don't want to be like rude about this to certain people, but okay, here's the thing. When I formed an opinion, once I finally had all the facts about what Steve Wozniak had done and his story, and talked to him, and actually had some exchange back and forth with him. I remember now on Twitter even, and the thing is that there were people who gravitated towards him.
Mm-hmm.
They gravitated towards him simply and solely because, it was anti-Warner Brothers, right? It was something against Warner Brothers. So a certain group of people decided that was the thing to do, right? That was the thing to like latch onto. And Cosa Nostra, this actually kind of goes back with what we've all been talking about these last few weeks. It seems like it's come up a lot. And that is this idea of like just being honest about things. Like don't just, why would you just gravitate towards somebody just because they're against the same thing you're against? You think? It's like, well, what about their deal? Like, what about their story? You better know that you can trust them and know that like what they're saying is true. Because you don't just and that's the thing, is we've seen a lot of this lately, where it's like, if it's not that corn sweat fake suit outfit with the bright colors and everything on the street with a short cape, and everybody acting like that's still real. Like, I swear I still see that in like all these groups and stuff, and then people making fun of it, mocking it, because they'll put a picture of Henry Cavill, and then they'll put a picture of that and be like, oh, when you order Superman off a Wish, and it's like, okay, I get it, you're being funny, but when you're promoting this like it's a real picture, and you're comparing it, well, then you know what? You're not arguing in good faith anymore. You're not putting out there the facts and saying, okay, I don't like this because XYZ. You're saying, I'm just willing to mock anything and everything just because I don't like this one thing that this studio did to a director I like a few years ago. And yeah, I get it. They continue to make bad mistakes. And I know it's not just Zach, and I know it's not just one thing. I get it. I mean, we get it, right? But it's still about being honest and having honest arguments. And so with this Wozniak thing, there was a lot of people that just gravitated right to Steve Wozniak and this whole Batman issue. And they were like, yeah, let's go get Warner Brothers. Never giving one iota of thought to, like, is this legitimate? Right? Do we actually want to like use our own brains and like think this out? No, it was just, we're going to jump on this bandwagon. And so because of that, Nerd Cosa Nostra, because I was not part of that bandwagon, I took a lot of flack from a certain group of people. And they have continued to give me flack about this for some reason. I don't know. There's like a lot of other stuff that people give me a lot of flack, but you know, it's like pick and choose, right? But it's really funny to me because people have given me a hard time about Wozniak and like acted like I wasn't a Snyder fan because I didn't support Wozniak even. And I'm just like, no, the two have nothing to do with each other, first of all, at all. And also the idea that like Wozniak, he worked for DC at one point.
Yep.
But he did not, this was not something that they hired him to do. So it was not his, it was just, he took it upon himself to do it. That's why it's copyright infringement. I've seen a lot of people not understanding that. They're like, he worked for them. It's like, I used to work for a grocery store a long time ago, but you know what? I can't just like wander the grocery store anymore either, you know, like from when I was 17, you know, like you don't just get free reign to do whatever with the place that you used to work at.
He was a freelancer back in the 90s. I mean, and you think the 90s, we're talking potentially 25, 30 years ago, that doesn't give you full, you know, rights to then start using their properties as you see fit, right? Just because, to your point, because you work for them. Right. But to your point, I think it boils down to also, I mean, this is this saying is not new. This is a very common saying: trust but verify.
Yes.
A lot of people trusted and they didn't verify. And then you have the side who's going to be like, nope, I'll trust it, but I'm going to either wait and verify the facts, or I'm going to wait until the facts come out to verify it and form my own opinion. And a lot of people don't do that. And I'm not going to get down a Snyder rabbit hole here, but it was the same thing with that too. I think, unfortunately, the whole Snyder situation has just kind of been the catalyst or foundation for if someone or a group of creators, directors, whatever is done wrong, it always somehow references back to that, which each one is a siloed event or situation. Each one has a very unique set of circumstances. So while, yes, the end result might be the same, what led us there or what led them there is going to be completely different. So you continuing to refer back to how Zack was treated, and this is coming from a Zack Snyder fan. So I wanted to be clear. I'm not as Zack Snyder hater, but I'm also not one of these hardcore, what many people call these cultists, where I will fall on my sword for Zack. If it comes out Zack does something wrong and it's proven to be wrong, hey, I'll call it out. I'll say, yeah, that's wrong. That's messed up. Hey, that needs to be addressed. But trust but verify, people. Trust but verify.
Right. Hey, real quick, Elsa sent me something really cool in the mail, and so she's saying good night, but Elsa sent me something very cool. Elsa is not from the United States, and I did get it, and this is something very, very cool. This is from Portugal, and yes, for all of us who are Snyder fans. Here, let me, I'll blow myself up here. Yeah. And, all right. What? Nope. Did it do it? No.
No.
Why isn't it giving me the single layout? It is not giving me the single layout. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay. Okay, cool. So look at this. This is a stamp book.
Oh, nice.
See there with all these characters on it. So like unless somebody has been to so unless somebody has been to Portugal, they will not have these. So this is something unique, and I love this. And so let me open this up here real quick. On the inside,
make sure no one in the house uses them.
Oh heck no! Do we send mail anymore? I don't even know. So you open up.
Hey, I still know a few people who write checks. So
me too. So you open up the book and look at that. There's that.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that cool? And then it actually unfolds again. And so it's like a nice big spread there, and it's got all the characters and stuff with all what their stamps are and everything. And yeah, it's very, very cool. Very, very cool. And then there's
think about like having it opened up and getting it framed or something.
You know, I'm thinking about it. Also, by the way, Elsa, thank you for the beautiful card. I appreciate it. That was so wonderful and beautiful. She said hello to everyone. And then in here are stamps. First of all, check that out.
That's pretty cool.
Look at that stamp proof. That is so cool. With, you know, and the fact that it's not just DC, but it's Snyder, you know,
related,
DC
yeah,
stuff. Right. It's
yeah.
Snyder related stuff. So that's really cool. And whoops. Oh yeah. And then this on the outside. Let me make sure there's nothing on there. Nope, there's not. So this on the outside is a.
Oh, it's an envelope with like the stamps being used.
Yeah, with the stamps on it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So we got that with the stamps on it, which is cool. And then like I said, this stamp proof that you can see there's perforated lines all around the stamp and stuff. And so, Elsa, thank you so much. Yeah, she just said, yeah, real stamps that only you have. I'm blown away. Elsa, you are such a blessing, and that was so nice of you. And so thank you so much, hon. And I hope you're having a good week. And hey, if anybody, you know, people ask me all the time, you know, so if you want to send something to me, you're more than able to do that, but just get a hold of me and I'll let you know where you can send those things to. But thank you so much, Elsa. I really, really appreciate that. And as a DC fan, and that was what she said, was that, you know, she's like, I know what a DC fan you are, and I know that you would appreciate these. And so it's very, very sweet. And you know what, it's perfect too that it shows, because, you know, Elsa and I discovered each other, you know, in a very funny way. We have differing opinions about Star Wars. And I love that. You know, I love that so much, that Elsa and I have these differing opinions about Star Wars, yet like we get each other, we're respectful to each other. And, you know, and I so wish that we would see more of that in fandom nowadays, but, you know, but anyways, thank you, Elsa. But yeah, to finish your thought, I mean, you're absolutely right, man. You know, this stuff is, people run with stories before even thinking about it, before even verifying anything, and they attach themselves to people. I mean, you know, and like I know that there's people. I feel like that because so many people do that. Like I've had people like assume that about me a couple of times, like with the Ezra Miller thing, for example, right? Like there was this notion that like somehow I was trying to track down Ezra Miller and get him on the show. And, like, I never reached out to Ezra Miller. You know, like I wasn't tracking down Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller literally just messaged me, Cosa Nostra, like one day out of the blue. And I was like, I'll never forget it. It was a Saturday morning, dude. And I was just like, holy crap, that's really him. And, you know, we started having a conversation, you know, and he said that he watched the channel, and that was cool. But it was not, but then like when everything happened after that, you know, with some of the situations that happened with him or with them, it was just, you know, it was a thing that people were like, oh, Enosh is just trying to do this. And it was like, no, I wanted to get to the bottom of that. You know, it was like, hey, if there was something really bad going on here, let's get to the bottom of it. But let's look at all the facts first and not just report what everybody else reports just for the sake of everybody else is doing it. And that's how I felt about this Batman situation. And that's how I still feel about this Batman situation. And I was actually very, you know, I feel bad for him if he really feels that he did something that was unique. But at the end of the day, Cosa Nostra, it just wasn't. The judge agreed. I read the ruling. I read the stuff, and I read. Did you happen to read Matt Reeves' deposition?
No, I hadn't had a chance to.
So I read that, and you know, and that was actually revealing, because there's been a lot of speculation over how Matt Reeves even got the job of directing the Batman, right? And because we all knew that Ben Affleck, you know, was supposed to do a Batman movie, and then all of a sudden Ben Affleck wasn't going to direct it anymore, and then all of a sudden, you know, Matt Reeves was going to direct it, and then all of a sudden it was, well, we weren't getting Ben Affleck anymore, you know, and Matt Reeves was doing his own thing. But in the deposition, he talks about how he writes, because that was the whole point, was that Matt Reeves was showing, like, look, I don't need to steal somebody else's work.
Yep.
I do just fine on my own. I have writing partners even when I want to bring them in. And like he even talked about, he brought in one partner, and then after a while, things just weren't working out. And so like he let that partner go, and he brought in somebody else. But one of the interesting things was he depicted how it came about that he got the job. And that was he was contacted by Warner Brothers. He took the meeting because he wasn't really interested in doing comic book stuff, but he loves Batman. And so he took the meeting to hear the pitch. He heard the pitch about Ben Affleck's story and everything. And he said, it's not really the story that I want to tell. And so he said to them, I'll do it, but I would need to do my own story. And they said, okay. So obviously there was stuff going on with Ben Affleck in the background of that one too, at that point, so like they were willing to let Matt Reeves do his own thing. And so it's kind of funny because according to Matt Reeves, he was in talks, like he went and had a meeting with them, but he never signed on for, like a lot of the speculation has been, oh, he signed on for this, but then he was like, no, I changed my mind. I just want to do my own thing because let's be honest, all of us nerd fans act like people are wonderful until they're not, and then as soon as they do something that we disagree with, like we have this whole animated picture of who they are, right? That like, I don't want to do Ben Affleck's script. I will only do my own. Well, I mean, essentially that's true, but he never signed on to do Ben Affleck's script.
Correct. And that even goes with saying maybe Ben wouldn't want somebody else doing his script. I mean, it's his script. Maybe he's like, well, hey, I'm glad you're interested. Maybe if it was a situation where, hey, I'm glad you're interested in doing my script, but I don't want you doing my script. If I'm not going to do it, then I just don't want it to be done. Right. I mean, a lot of people in that situation, they want to do their own work. They want to be able to put their stamp of their style on something, not necessarily use somebody else's, because let's just say he did use Ben's script and it turned out to be this massive blockbuster success. I mean, many people didn't like the first like the Batman. I liked it. I really enjoyed it. Wasn't for everybody, but had he used Ben's script, I think you would have had another split. Oh, look what Ben can do. Well, Matt directed it. Yeah, but Ben wrote it. I mean, it would have just been a lot more of a hassle.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I'm a musician, right? Now, I don't have a problem doing cover songs. I love doing cover songs. I like to make them my own a little bit when we do cover songs in the band and everything. We have fun with it, right? But I'm also a songwriter. Okay. So, like I have a good balance, but I understand that idea because if you're a creator, if you enjoy creating things, there are some directors, like they're not writers. They're just directors.
Yeah.
They understand film. They understand how to put film together. They understand how it works, but they're not a writer. They can take those words that are on those papers and those descriptions that are on those papers and bring them to life. And then there are just some people who are they're writers. Well, some people are just writers. They don't direct, like they don't have that personality to be able to control a set and make that happen. They don't have that knowledge, that foreknowledge of how to make this stuff happen.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there are people who write and direct and do other things. I mean, look at Zack Snyder, for goodness sake. Zack Snyder does everything, and so there are some directors that are like that. And so I completely understand why Matt Reeves would want to do his own thing, because that's the type of person that he is. That's the type of director that he is. He is
especially
a writer.
Coming off the success of War of the Planet of the Apes. That was well received by a lot of people, and that was his most before he did the Batman. That was the most recent film that he did. He both wrote and directed.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another thing coming in that was successful, where he had just come off of going into the Batman. So,
oh, you're absolutely right, Ryan. George Lucas is a great example of that. He can't write dialogue, right? I mean, and it's just the way it is. But that does remind me, though, Cosa Nostra, one of the greatest things about that Batman verdict was the fact that not only did the judge, basically say, tell him kind of in the nicest way he could, your story is not unique. It's not special. It's a generic story with very popular characters, and therefore does not constitute, what you think it does. They didn't steal your story. But I love the fact that a judge referenced Star Wars and Anakin Skywalker in his verdict.
Yep.
it's just cool. You know, just making that point.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll mention on this is because when I read the verdict, the premise was that he had provided this story back in 2008, and the Batman came out, and what was it, 21 or 22? The Batman came out 22. 22
was 22. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like 2 years ago. So that's a big time gap where Matt Reeves was never involved. I mean, if you think about around that, so 2008, I mean, Matt Reeves hadn't even done his first Apes movie yet. He didn't do that one until 2014. So I think in 2008 he did Cloverfield.
Yeah.
He was doing Cloverfield. No, he was directing Cloverfield in 2008. So
they were secretly feeding him Batman scripts.
Yeah, for that long, but also so that point, and then this one will be my last one on this is when you're when you're suing, when you're the one bringing the suit, you have the burden to prove that Warner Brothers, DC, that they did this. That burden falls on you. The defense has no burden of proof here. And I think, I don't think, but obviously, unfortunately, he wasn't able to convince the judge or necessarily had the necessary proof evidence to show that his story was one unique and it was stolen and then used to create this film. So,
no, and you're absolutely right. And the thing too is you know what? I think another thing about this, for me at least, because I'm always of the mind, like I said at the beginning of the topic, you know, look, if you've been done wrong, go to court, take it to court, like you said, prove it, right? Show in court that they wronged you, and be good with it. But you know, like he not only was like, hey, I'm bringing this, you know, thing, like he got to the point where like he was trash talking, he was, you know, he's kind of buying into that hype and everything, and you know, yeah, no, I was good. And so
be careful when you do that, because
we can all do it. Look, I've done it before.
Yeah,
you know? I mean, like,
I'm not pointing him out specifically.
Yeah, no, I know.
We all have done it. We all do it, but we all got to keep reminding ourselves. You got to be careful when you do that, because actions have consequences, especially when it comes to your name and reputation, right? Because sometimes that's all you have to go on. And this might hurt him, you know, for future work. I hope it doesn't. I hope, and you know, trying to look at it from his side, I'm sure he's not feeling the best right now. Obviously, he believed he wrote something unique. He believed it was his story, and I'm sure he wasn't happy to see this. Obviously, I didn't see anything where the only thing I saw from his lawyers that put out there was, you know, they're looking at what their options are. I don't think he'll appeal based on what the judge stated, because what new evidence can he bring to the table to appeal this, to change an appellate judge's mind? I don't think that would happen, and I think it would just be a waste of his own money to try to appeal it, especially when they came back and said, well, you committed copyright infringement. So
I agree.
So I mean, I hope I hope obviously him as a creator, I mean, you always want to see creators do well. But unfortunately, I mean, the facts are the facts, right? So
right. And so the last thing I'll say is just, look, I think that justice was served, as far as everything that I've seen, the conversations I've had with the man himself, and what I've seen from others, you know, him on other shows, and everything that he said. I feel like justice was served. I think that the right thing was done, and you know, I hope the best for him. I hope that he's, you know, I don't hope anything ill for him. You know, I hope that he's able to rebound from this, and you know, and I hope maybe that he ends up writing something that's great, you know, that we all love. And you know, who knows? Anything can happen, right? So now we mentioned that there's a couple of stories that just came out, and I'm not in front of them. Do you have a couple of those things there in front of you? You were mentioning them earlier.
Let me see. So The Matrix, I do have that. Let me just get it pulled up.
Yeah, so that is a really interesting one. I know DL mentioned, like, I think he's the first comment in the chat, and he's just like, why are they making another Matrix? So, you know, look, I get it. The Matrix, the last one here, what was it called? It was the
Resurrections.
Resurrections.
Yeah.
Resurrections. That's right.
Resurrection. Sorry.
Resurrection. Yeah. Was it Shun or Shuns?
I think it was Shun, but let me double check. Resurrections with an S.
Resurrections. Okay. So I know a lot of people said it first, like, I don't like it. I didn't like it. I thought visually it looked different than the other Matrix movies. It definitely looked. I think the Matrix Resurrections suffered from the CGI that it had. It looked like they used. I don't know. Did they use the volume on that? Because some of the backgrounds just looked a little wonky.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what was used, but I'm trying to see if I'm trying to see what they may have used. While you're going.
No, but yeah, so so there was that, and if anybody in the chat knows, that's cool too. But yeah, I liked the movie. I liked the progression. I thought the fighting scenes were cool, and I was down. Now I get it. A lot of people didn't like it. I did not think that it was this horrible failure that a lot of people apparently thought it was. I know that it didn't make a lot of money, but it was right in the. I mean, it was the timing of the movie coming out was horrible, and it was actually quite surprising that it was a time that it was uncharted territory during the pandemic, right? So we didn't know what was coming. There were no movies for the longest time, and then streaming took over, and a lot of movies suffered for that. I'm sorry, Bill and Ted 3. That's another Keanu Reeves movie, but Bill and Ted 3. I waited for that movie for as long as everybody else, man, for like 30 years. And then all of a sudden we get it, and it felt like watching a direct-to-TV movie. Like, because I was watching it at home for the first time instead of being able to go to the theater. And I know we had all these debates back then about whether or not the theaters should be open ever again or anything else. And, it was like all this talk about this. But, I think that there were a lot of movies, and there are still movies that are still suffering the effects of what happened during the pandemic, and we're going to still experience that for a long time. You notice the scope of movies has changed since the pandemic, where a lot of these smaller movies they just don't get the attention anymore. There's certain types of movies that nobody is going to see anymore because it is a luxury almost now, and it is like a special event now kind of thing to go to the movies, and people are comfortable watching stuff at home. So I get it. But The Matrix was one of those things. The Matrix needs to be seen in a theater. And it was unfortunate that that wasn't the way that we first got to see The Matrix. And I think that did affect it. But I'm all for more Matrix, man. Bring me some more Matrix all day, any day. And with that said, bring me some Anthony too, if he wants to come in. What's up, man?
Hello.
What's going on, man?
What's up, Anthony?
All right. So what do we got on this?
So I have one of the articles here.
Okay.
I'll just read some of it. I won't read all of it. I mean, it seems pretty short though.
Yeah.
Let's say, okay, so this was as of 40 minutes ago. So I mean, unless something's changed in the last 40 minutes, this is what's out there right now. So Warner Brothers is going back to The Matrix. The studio announced that a 5th Matrix movie is in development. It'll be the first installment without Lena or Lily Wozniak as directors. Instead, the Martian screenwriter Drew Goddard will handle filmmaking duties. He will also write the script and produce with his partner at Goddard Textiles, Sarah Esberg. Lena, who helmed the most recent Matrix installment, 2021's Resurrections, is attached as an executive producer. It is not clear who from the Matrix universe, Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, have anchored all of the prior movies as Neo and Trinity. They don't know if they're going to return or not for this recent iteration. Plot details haven't been revealed, but Warner Bros. Motion Pictures president of production, Jesse Ehrman, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, teases that the story will advance the fantasy world without straying too far from what made the series a success. And it just goes on just to talk about basic Hollywood budget nonsense.
Sure.
So, okay, so I'm a little torn here on this. So so we've gotten 4 Matrix movies. It's 2024. This one we probably won't see until maybe 2026 summertime. First one came out in 99. We're talking a 27-year gap between.
Wow.
And
wow.
99.
99.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
2 days ago was the anniversary of the movie.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah, March 31st. So like a few days, 3-4 days ago was the anniversary.
I remember when Matrix came out because me and Landon's mom had just started dating. Well, no, we've been dating for a couple years. I take that back. We've been dating for a couple years, but I was exhausted because I was working third shift and I used to stay up all day Thursday. And the first time I ever watched The Matrix, I fell asleep and I hated it because I was exhausted and I stayed up all day Thursday because I was working third shift and I was wanting to stay up because I had Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. So I went over to her house and was hanging out. We were watching the movie and I fell asleep. And for like the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years, I was like, I hate The Matrix. The Matrix sucked. It was boring. It was whatever. And then one afternoon, I'm just like home alone on a Saturday afternoon and The Matrix was on. So like I turned it on and I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. And I watched the whole thing. And then it was like, well, dang. And then like right after that, Matrix Revolutions came on or whatever the second one was. And I was like, sweet. So I watched that one. And then the third one was actually in theaters while I was watching. That's why they were both on TV. And so,
Revolutions was the third. Reloaded was the second.
Okay, that's right. Reloaded. So I went to go see Revolutions in the theater, but Rachel would not go with me. So I had to go. I ended up going, it was like the Sunday night, the next night, I went by myself to go watch Matrix Revolutions, and I watched the last showing that was our theater. So I got to see that one in the theater at least. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, I don't think I saw any of the original trilogy in the theater. I mean, at the time, it just wasn't something I was constantly doing. It was going to the movies.
Sure.
But it'll be 27 years between the first and this new one that's in development. Which in development can mean a lot of things. So that's where I'm torn. We're saying it's in development, so there's obviously no script. We don't know who's coming on board, and this movie could easily get canceled. When
tomorrow,
or if
what time is it?
Yeah, and if
WB
or WBD, like Warner Bros. Discovery, does get bought out, it's a very good chance the new owners may say, "Well, wait a minute, we don't want to do this. We don't want to spend the money on another Matrix film," because they may just look at the last one and say, and they probably will, rightfully so, they should, because Revolutions came out in 2003. So that's another big gap between the original, end of the original trilogy to now. And when they try, let's set the pandemic aside. Let's just set that I don't want to call it a situation. Let's set that whole thing to the side just for a moment while we talk about Resurrection. So yes, so Resurrections, would it have done better in theaters had the pandemic not happened? It had a budget of almost $200 million. It only brought in almost barely, not even close to 160. You know what, Crazy Joe, that gets. I'm not saying it will, and I'm not saying it won't.
I'm sorry. I had to stir the pot a little bit. Throw that in there.
Joe, we're not saying it will.
I'm not saying it's going to get.
He's saying if.
I'm saying if that happens, because it is it's a possibility. We can't remove it from the chances of it happening. Right.
It is possible. It's happened before.
Exactly.
Get him put out for.
I mean, I'll respond to that comment this way.
Definitely got.
When you have shareholders, investors,
it's definitely
and high
hey, Austin. Hold on a second. Hold on, Austin. Can you hear Nerd Coast Nostra?
It's
Austin.
It's not working.
Yeah, Austin. Here, I'm gonna have to boot him.
So just to respond to that, when you have investors, stockholders, stakeholders, you have these high execs where their salary is based on company performance, bonus, and then pretty much paid back in stock. And we've seen, and people have been posting WBD stock performance for months now, how it's been just tanking. At some point, the major shareholders are going to say, enough's enough. I'm not going to keep taking a loss. I'm not going to keep losing money if you guys can't get it together.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of those people sway a lot of power, and they behind the scenes they could say, no, we're forcing a sale. We want this sold to someone else who can handle it, manage it, and make it profitable. They haven't been profitable for a bit. So
Well,
I'm
they're
just
certainly starting to become like I will say yes. A couple months ago, the likelihood of a merger or sale, I think, was in the conversation. Now they're looking at, and sorry for my voice, guys. I just got over having bronchitis, so I sound like I've been smoking cigarettes for the last 25 years. But no, I think over the last few months, with what they've done financially, their film of Dune, they've got Mad Max coming out. They've got a lot of. They're projected to probably be one of the highest grossing companies, production companies this year. With that Joker, so we could see a turnaround as well. I think it's a little early for any of those conversations because they do
and
have
again,
a good line.
I do not disagree with one thing you just said, not one bit, and that's
No.
why I mentioned if they get bought, and they may not get bought, right? It's very I'm just opening up the possibilities that it could go either way.
So what
right?
you're saying is they're going to get bought.
They're going to get bought. That's
100%. Absolutely.
I have breaking news. I have the scoop, people.
Sorry, Joe. Sorry, Joe. All of your research and all of your knowledge. No, we're sorry.
Sorry, Crazy Joe. I have.
Yeah,
the
I'm
inside
sorry,
scoop.
Joe. Yeah.
Right out the window.
I just got off the
Go wear your pajamas and let this man do his thing.
I just got off the analyst call. We went over the financials.
Universal is going to buy them. Yeah, sure.
And it's not. And guess what? Here's breaking news. It's not even Universal. It's going to be Disney.
Oh
no, I'm just kidding.
Well, that story we got later, man, almost corroborates that.
That's a little teaser for the.
There you go.
Later.
There you go.
So
I mean, they still have money left, so they can buy the studio if they want to.
Exactly.
So real quick, what have I missed so far? Is everybody
so we
excited
talked.
for...
So we covered the
Wozniak thing.
The Wozniak thing.
I mean, he was going to lose regardless.
Yeah, I got nothing to say to that.
And we were just jumping into the Matrix news. So
yes. Okay.
So I'll just say this about the Matrix. But obviously the fourth film was happening right. I mean the development and filming was happened right at the very beginning of the pandemic, March, April 2020. And obviously they stopped filming for a long period of time. They started back up in 2021. It got released in 2021. Box office results, obviously, I think no one was surprised because of what was happening across the world.
And can I just real quick also say just to add on to that too, because I don't think that's the only the marketing for that movie was god awful.
Yeah.
They put a trailer out 2 months before it came out, or 2 or 3 months, and it was like they did not market that movie whatsoever. That just to add, because I think that's another reason why the box office kind of tanked.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't this also go to streaming the same time it went to?
Yes.
Yes. So I mean, unless that's why they said we're not going to put that much investment in marketing because it's going to drop on streaming the same day it drops theaters.
Right.
Why put that much investment?
Even though Godzilla versus Kong and Dune made a ton of money.
Well, and not to mention they had put all their marketing money in 1984.
Yep.
Yeah, Wonder Woman, Doom Part 1, and then the Godzilla versus Kong movie in 2021. So yeah, they put a ton of money into that.
So all to say is I didn't dislike the film. I think unfortunately the first Matrix brought us something we had never seen before in film. It broke down a lot of walls, especially from a technology perspective, from a visual effects, what we saw in that film. And then, I mean, how many movies did we see after the fact try to mimic or try to do something the same or very similar to the Matrix? And I think the Matrix
parodies of Bullet Time did we see?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, a lot. So, I think though the Matrix set a foundation for a change in the film industry on how films were done and how visual effects were used.
Sure.
Now, this fourth film, though, I mean, I think every movie you can probably pick apart visual effects. Example, The Flash. However, I think they were trying to recapture something by saying a lot of the tiebacks to the previous films. They were almost as if they were trying to build a bridge between the previous generation of audience who loved the first three films or loved the original film to a new audience who would love this. And they wanted to say, hey, new audience, you may not have been here or may never seen the original, but this is how we're going to tie it back in hopes of saying, hey, go watch those previous films. You may like them if you like this. I don't know if I feel like necessarily a fifth film is needed, especially if you don't have Keanu and Carrie coming back, especially how it ended. I mean, ended off with the two of them flying off within the Matrix. I mean, if they're not coming back, I mean, how are you going to pivot from that to something where you have none of the original cast returning? Because you're going to have to tie it in somehow. You have to make at least a 5-minute, 2-minute reference as to why we aren't seeing them. And I don't think anyone wants to see an alternate version of these two characters. Like you have a different actor playing Neo, but now Neo now looks different, like what we know about from Matrix Reloaded, where we found out there's been multiple versions of the Matrix, right? And they kept getting destroyed. And they just keep pretty much recreating it. So we've seen the one, like there's been previous predecessors to Neo, and Neo just happens to be the one to break through. So I'll give it like I've said on this multiple shows before. I'll continue to say it on shows going forward. If it happens, I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to, hey, I want to see trailers first. And if it turns out to be, I like it, great. If I don't, hey, I can say, I gave it a watch, wasn't for me. Hey, if it's your cup of tea, enjoy. But I think it's still way too early to even say if this film is even going to happen. So
I think it will. I mean, look, Warner Brothers has, and look, they even say it in the in the movie. They have an interest in IP and nostalgia and doing all this type of stuff. I know I've got this news today was specifically made me very happy because I've gone back and forth with our good friend William about this.
Yeah, I know William definitely has some strong opinions.
William is crying in the streets right now, and I am celebrating.
William Dafoe.
But no, I do start with this. I'm very biased to the Matrix. Even the bad ones, I love. I love that universe. I'm obsessed with it. Blade Runner and the Matrix are two sci-fi universes. I'm 100% biased, dude. They can do no wrong, pretty much. I just love being in that universe or seeing what they do with it. So I really liked Resurrections. And I thought it did set itself up for some sort of continuation. I think the main thing is that there's still interest in this universe.
Absolutely, I
think, and that's one thing I hear some people say, and I think you put it really, really well, right? In that it did something we hadn't seen before in cinema, and it really kind of changed things. And it's hard to replicate that, but it's still an expansive universe. Whether we're following Neo's story directly or something else in the universe, I think there's definitely stuff to explore. I think there always has been. So for me, I think this is the right move. I do think that like you said, you have to include Neo and Trinity in some way. I don't think they have to be the main characters or the leads, but I mean, they're obviously a big part of it. Whether we're following, the rebellion or the war, like they need to be known characters in the background, right? And so, but for me, I think this just goes to show, like, look, the Matrix to this day is still very right. You have people that believe we are living in a Matrix, in a real Matrix.
Well, that's Andrew Tate.
So I think it's easy money if it's done right, if it's marketed right, and if it's a good story. I think that's the biggest thing. You don't have to revolutionize cinema like the first one did, but people want a good story, and we want to, like I said, the universe is big enough and expansive enough to where we could see, stuff with the war, with the machines. We could see stuff, with Jada Pinkett Smith's character, from the rebellion or all that. Like, we could see all these different types of things that I think, there's definitely story to tell.
Yeah, I mean, I like Drew Goddard. He's a good director and a writer.
Mm-hmm. I did really like Bad Times at the El Royale.
I think he's good. I mean, he was in the showrunning list to direct the next Spider-Man movie. That's not happening. So 'cause he's busy doing this, and then he's busy doing something for James Gunn, which we'll find out probably next year or so. I mean, the first movie without Lana, I'm surprised because she's not doing it because that Matrix means so much to her. So,
Well, she
but
is an executive producer.
yeah, she's a producer. She probably have some say in it, but not that much. But I love to see another whoever the cast as the new generation for this Matrix. I expect Keanu coming back. I expect everybody to come back except for probably Fishburne. He didn't come back for the last one because of payment issue. So they had to get the younger version of his character, and the guy who played Aquaman, the villain from the last one. So yeah, I don't mind it. I want to know the plot of the movie for sure. The last one was okay. Like it made a joke on Warner Brothers. I was laughing when they did that.
Yeah, it was very self-aware. It knew what it was. It knew what it was doing. It wasn't trying to be anything.
Like the visual effects on that one was great. There's no, it's still if there's nothing it still felt the same. Like it was great visual effects and everything. Visually was good.
Yeah.
The story was okay. It was not bad. It was okay, average at best.
I think if they do bring if Keanu does come back, which I think in order to
cut your hair, bro, cut your hair.
I think if he, I'm okay with the Neo / John Wick look.
The Neo Wick, yeah, right.
Yeah, the Neo Wick. I'm okay with that. I think if he does come back, even if it's just him, let's just say Carrie doesn't come back, Lawrence doesn't come. I mean, obviously Lawrence wouldn't come back because he's dead. From what we know, he's already dead. So,
I guess they probably get forgot the Aquaman actor, the villain. No, other villain. Yeah. They probably get him maybe to come back and play the younger version again. So,
well, and then I mean it's a good possibility. But and then with Jada, I mean the version we saw of her was an elderly version of that character. So and honestly, again, I'm not trying to. And there's no controversy here. There's no bias here. I don't think they'll bring her in just because of what's going on with her and Will Smith in the news. I don't think they're gonna want. I don't think they're gonna want.
Probably
that type
make
of
a cameo at best.
You're right.
I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to want that type of press attached to if they're trying to create a new generation of Matrix fans.
If she does appear, it'll probably be a tiny.
It'll be it'd be very small. It might be a callback, and I think the same thing would happen with Keanu and Carrie. They might be in the movie for maybe the first 20-30 minutes, and something will happen with them where, okay, their story is now complete. Or now they're lost somewhere in this alternate matrix or within the matrix, and now we carry on with these new characters moving forward. But Keanu's got so much going on between this year over the next 2 to 3 years. I mean, especially with the John Wick universe.
Back in the lounge.
I mean, he's got a ton going on. So I question if he'll even have time to do it. Again, and that he'll have time to do it if it's a cameo type 15-20 minute role. If they're expecting Keanu to come back in full-fledged, put this film on his shoulders and carry it, I would be surprised if that happens.
Bro, he's gonna do John Wick 5. That's already been confirmed in a way.
Correct.
Even though people
the
think
amount
the
of effort that
he
has to put in for the John Wick movies, I don't see him doing that and putting just as much, if not the same amount of hard work into having to do another Matrix film at the same time. I think that might just be too much for him.
Way too much. But
like I said, I'm like I said, with any film, I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to, but again, it's just one of those things where I need to see more. I need to see some teaser trailers or the official trailer drop just to get an idea of how the story is. What is the story? How is this going to play out? But like I said, I'll give it a chance. I'm happy to see what they come up with. I just don't want fans to think that, oh, we're gonna see Neo, Trinity, we're gonna see all the original crew come back together. If you're thinking that's gonna happen for another film, I think you're gonna be disappointed. So lower those expectations.
Yeah,
This
you
might
already got
be
that for the last one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think as both Austin and you, Anthony, mentioned, this might be the setup for the next generation of Matrix characters and fans. So
and that's fine, and that's good.
Absolutely,
I mean, like,
absolutely.
I'm totally down with
All
that
for
idea. But I you got to have them in there to a point. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just.
You have to have that connection. You have that connection,
Yeah.
but then you have to have that send off. Say, okay,
Right.
their
I don't
time
want
has
them to just
come.
start. I don't want them to just start off and then be like, oh, this guy's Neo now.
That's what we were talking about. We don't want another actor to come in and say, "Oh, now this is Neo," but it's the latest
Right.
version of Neo within the Matrix.
I get that when we could all get that in a meta kind of way, you know. But let's be honest, we didn't go to see Neo technically.
Yeah, we
went-
talked about how we saw that in the third, I think it was the second film with the Architect, where we knew there had been multiple Matrixes previously. They all had been destroyed. And then there was always the one to Neo. He had predecessors that we found out about during that film. So yeah, I think as a panel, I think we're all in agreement. We definitely don't want to see something like that happen. But who knows? We very well could, if they want to try and keep that character going. If Keanu can't come in and do the role, I don't want to see that. If we're going to do it, bring Keanu in. 20-minute cameo, something happens, the torch gets passed, he gets an appropriate, proper send-off, that character, and you start off with new characters.
Right. I mean, well, because what other future are you going to have? I mean, even if you get everybody to come back for this movie, right? For Matrix 5, right? And it's Keanu, and it's like, and it's centered around them. Now, this last one was absolutely centered around them, right? It was all centered around getting Trinity back and rebooting everything and stuff. I got to go watch that movie. I got to see that movie again. But
should be on Max.
Right, it's on everything, right? But
it might be everywhere else.
But what do you do if you get, everybody back for that movie? One, if that movie bombs, okay, you're done. I mean, I would think. But also, like, even if the movie does well, do you think they're going to come back and do another trilogy of these films? You know what I mean? Like, or do they say, well, we only need one more to create a trilogy? Or do you have to have another movie? Like, do you use the last movie of the second trilogy to somehow just give that send off or whatever?
We're not even taking into account. Okay, so and of course, rightfully so. We're focusing on the films, the three trilogy, and the latest one. But keep in mind, these characters lived across the 4 video games they did and the animated film they did, the Animatrix. So that's 9, I don't want to call them properties. That's 9 releases, so to speak, across this universe where Neo, Trinity, Morpheus, they've been involved in. At some point, if you're gonna keep this IP going and you want to keep it fresh, bring in get a new audience to come in and care about this universe, you're gonna have to make that transition at some point.
Yeah. The question is, I think the question at the end of the day then is, if they do that, will people accept it? Because we see all these other IPs that they try to do that, and all anybody says is, I want Luke Skywalker still. You didn't give me Luke Skywalker in my Star Wars. You didn't give me my Luke Skywalker in my Star Wars movie.
I think the Matrix is more plausible to do something like this versus the Star Wars, the SW verse or Star Wars verse, however you want to call it. I think the Matrix world is much more plausible because we know it to be a computer generated world.
Right. And I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that.
And they make, and who knows? I know we don't want to bring this up for this, but they could go down the whole AI avenue.
Oh boy,
with this film.
If there was a movie to do that,
hear me out.
Wait, let him say it. Okay.
Meaning, within the Matrix, somehow AI has infiltrated the Matrix. And AI is trying to take over what used to just be a computer generated world, but now AI has now been introduced and is now trying to take over.
You see what this guy's doing? He's writing a better movie already.
Just saying. Now, if they did something like that, I think that would be interesting and be new compared to what we've seen in the previous films, video games, because that's what's happening. Many people believe that's what's happening now. Believe, we are seeing it. Many actors, writer, they're all having concern that like their likenesses are going to be used or have already been used with AI. They're going to replace artists. They could use that as a story to connect it to our real world, or what people believe our world is to be a Matrix simulation as well. As Austin
right. Wow, that's a great.
So let's mark this April 3rd, 2024. We'll come back to this episode in 2 years if I happen to be correct.
We'll be back here in 2 years, and instead of doing a thing about Steve Wozniak, we'll be what's his name?
God.
Is it Steve Wozniak?
We'll be talking about my lawsuit
or Frank Wozniak,
Warner Brothers for stealing
your idea. Yeah.
Yeah, Warner Brothers is stealing your idea now, Nerd Cosa Nostra, and yeah. Lovely.
Anyways, that's where I stand on the whole.
Yeah.
Matrix
So
thing.
Matrix, hey Matrix, I'm all for it. You know, we're all pretty much saying the same thing, but I do agree that we have to wait and see what this is actually going to be, because if we get ahead of ourselves, and of course fans of stuff get ahead of themselves, and they'll be like, oh, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be this, and then like you said, what happens if nobody comes back? Then you got a whole other can of whatever to deal with, and but I'm the concept of a Matrix 5 I'm totally cool with, because I love that world. And I tell you what, man, you got me kind of jonesing now about that whole AI kind of thing, because honestly, I'm thinking now not even Matrix, but like the future of Tron.
Yeah. Apparently that's what the next movie's about. So
I gotta hurry up and get something filed.
Right, man. Like
notarized.
Because those are two properties right there, right? That and another one, I would hate to see them do it because it's been just played out, and I just don't care at this point. Terminator.
I'm tapped out on Terminator.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm tapped out on Terminator too. I'm tapped out on Terminator. But I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. God forbid that like somebody gets a hold of that AI idea and goes, "Oh, we could use this for Terminator because it's like the same thing," and it's like,
well,
no.
James Cameron has already said that he is thinking about, and he would writing a new Terminator.
Yeah, I saw that.
But he is waiting to see. He said he's basically waiting to see where AI goes a little bit.
I mean, I think if he returns and direct, I'll watch it.
I'm willing. Yeah, if he's returning to direct and write it, I'll. You bet. You take my.
Well,
message.
look, I'm gonna go see
But
it.
if
Don't
he's
get
not,
me
then
wrong.
no,
I'm gonna go see it, but let's talk about the problem with that, right? And I don't want to go down a deep rabbit hole of this, but let's talk about the problem with that. How many of the last movies did James Cameron come out and go, "This is the one, guys"?
Sure, but he's the.
This is the one. But this is the one. No, Austin. This is the one.
Yeah, sure, but
we were talking about the one with Neo. This movie's the one. This is the Terminator one.
But if it's your franchise, are you really going to come out like the weekend before and go, "Oh yeah, it's a trash movie"? Don't go.
Why say anything?
You're making money off of it too. You're the executive producer.
But have you seen the last few Terminator movies?
I'm not saying you're wrong. They're terrible.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sorry if I created something and then you literally take a crap on it. I'm not going to be like, "Yeah, this is the one, guys. This is the one."
I think
this is the one you've been waiting for.
Had something going. I like. There are a lot of things I like about Salvation. Genesis is utter garbage.
Okay, so real quick, this might get me kicked off Future Shows, but
oh no!
I kind of like Genesis. I like it because I like the direct, almost one-for-one shot callback to the original.
Sure,
that's why I like it. Not because I thought the story was so magnificent. It was because it almost felt like they were literally trying to do a shot for shot. Modern day, but with a slight twist on the story. That's why I liked it.
Sure.
But so hopefully I'll be back. Everyone, hopefully I'll be back tomorrow.
I'm totally I'm totally good with that, because I agree. There is something in every Terminator movie that works.
Yeah.
Okay. There is something in every. It's not that all of them are just god awful from beginning to end, but it seems like in the last couple of them, ever since 3, let's be honest, Salvation was probably the rawest and probably realest.
I like
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like tangible, right? Like that it felt like, hey, we're in this finally, right? We're in the war, right?
Yeah,
it felt like a completely different direction too.
Yes. completely different feel. It was a war movie.
And I loved the whole like them offering like prisoner people who were bad, on death row, like this other shot to be like a, but they don't know they're now these robots and stuff. Like, I there was a lot of things I liked about Salvation. Dark Fate, I do like things about Dark Fate. My biggest issue with it is you can tell the direction is just, it's like Tim Miller and James Cameron were at it that entire movie. It's kind of messy in the way it's directed.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, there's been good things and bad things, right? In each of these movies. That being said, gosh, Terminator. What else do you do with Terminator, right? I mean, like, where else do you? And I don't want to get in. That's a rhetorical question, by the way. I don't want to get into.
And that could be like a whole episode.
Right, that's a whole episode. Maybe we do an episode called "What do you do with Terminator?"
Maybe.
I feel like the thing that you do with Terminator at this point is you say, that was fun. It was nice knowing you. Saying goodbye to a nice friend. Because what more story can you tell? How many times can you save the world and yet still have Skynet come back? And so eventually you just say, I mean, like literally when they start using John Connor like as a machine, we're running out of ideas here, folks. Like, what else are you going to possibly do that is going to somehow revive this? I don't know what James Cameron thinks he's going to do that's going to revive it, unless it's you go back and, DL says focus on a future war. I get that, but we kind of got to see some of that already, and I don't know if that's a whole movie now. I don't know what a good Terminator movie would look like besides
the first two.
The first two was a great story package, and even if you wanted to throw Salvation in there, you know what I mean? Like, part 3 was awful. Part 3 was just bad. Part 3 had an interesting idea to show Skynet taking over. That was great. Great concept. Horrible execution.
Yeah.
Horrible execution. And so Salvation, though, was one of those movies that you could have partnered Terminator 2, Judgment Day, right into Salvation and say, look, they did this, and this is the war now, right? And John is still in there, and like, we're still having to do this. And look, I love the TV show. I thought the TV show was amazing.
If somehow Disney bring that back, I'll be happy.
Well, everybody's too old now, but yeah,
I
mean,
too old, but
Well, they are working on a Terminator anime, I believe.
Yeah, that's for Netflix. But that's
Nerd Cosa Nostra. I said I wasn't going to get into this scene,
and now we're into it.
Now we're into it. Okay, but now we're out. I will get us out.
But I think it warrants a final comment from on my end. I think it warrants maybe there's an opportunity to do an hour show of let's dive into Terminator and where we think this should go. Because my final word is, hey, Arnie needs to hang it up. You guys can't keep relying on Arnie to keep coming to every Terminator film.
Yeah, I agree.
And please don't do what you did in Salvation and just make a horrible CGI version.
Whether he's CGI or it's actually him, this is an IP. It is time to move on from Arnold Schwarzenegger. They've tried it, obviously, with Salvation briefly because he was just CGI. So he really wasn't.
Yeah, that was just CGI.
It was very brief. But at some point, if you want to keep this IP alive, you got to move on from him. You just have to. Otherwise, hang up the IP for 10 years or so. Try to do it through comics, graphic novels, and then come back, with something maybe fresh. But to keep trying to circle the mountain with the same T800. Come on, it's time to move on.
Right. Yeah. I agree. All right. So, what was it? What was the Supergirl thing that came out? Let's talk about that real quick.
Craig Gillespie is
Yeah. So we have a director for Supergirl.
Well, it first came out that he had signed. That was the first report. And then it was within 10 minutes, it was immediately then, I guess, updated, or people then were saying, well, no, he wasn't signed. He's just in talks to direct Supergirl.
He is signed. He is signed.
Not tweeted yet.
Yeah. Who has anyone reached out to James Gunn directly to say,
somebody get
hey, is this true? I mean, I'm sure somebody has.
Probably they have.
Someone wake up RJ. Tell him to
get RJ up.
He hasn't been on Tread for like
somewhere. It was like a million voices just cried out. We're suddenly silenced.
Yeah, he hasn't been on Twitter for like 2 days because he's busy filming. So,
well, and the article
eventually,
I read says that they were going to start Supergirl like the process later this year.
Yeah,
makes sense because the writer of that finished the script and she's doing the Teen Titans movie for James Gunn.
Let's think about that though. Let's now take a few steps back. They're going to start Supergirl later this year, but they had no problem pushing the Batman Part 2 out further, saying there's no script. We haven't seen a script. I'm not starting breaking news. No conspiracy theories here. I'm just saying it's interesting that these events are playing out the way they're playing out. And I'm going based on what's being reported. This isn't me coming up with my own theory of I think this is what's happening. I'm just going on what the articles are saying.
Nerd Cosa Nostra in the background looking at this stuff, trying to figure it out.
Where? When?
Oh! Oh my God, I haven't seen that clip in years. Oh my God.
We need a sequel to Spaceballs.
We do. Yes. Why don't we have that
Are they
sequel?
not making one?
Why is there not a sequel to Spaceballs? For God's sake, there was a cartoon that nobody watched.
We need one. We all need to be one with the Schwartz.
Please do it before like anybody else dies. For God's sake.
Yeah, but so anyways, Craig Gillespie's been tapped to potentially come on as the director.
Sure.
They've obviously already casted Supergirl, so we already know who that's going to be. My concern with Craig is unless you guys all have different information than what I know, he doesn't have a big track record when it comes to film or television. A lot of his time has been spent in TV commercials.
Agreed.
A lot of his time he's done a lot of TV, and those have been, obviously they've been successful because he's done quite a few of them. But from a film perspective, he did I, Tonya, which I know was well received, and Cruella, which was well received. They also got nominated for a Grammy Award for the soundtrack. But beyond that, what has he really done?
The one thing that I can see of kind of what he's got a style. And I think that's something DC needs, right? It's interesting. All the directors, you hear them rumored or talk about, whether it's Matthew Vaughn, James Gunn, this guy, like they all have like this style to them, Like so, Gillespie with I, Tonya and Cruella has I can't even really put a finger on it, but he's got this style with his camera work and with even the fantastical setting of like Cruella and stuff. I like thinking about it. I really enjoy like the overall looks of his movies. So I'm interested to see, him bring that to a high powered superhero, like this. But I agree, like there's not, besides those two, there's not much to really go based off of. It sounds like they're taking a little bit of a chance here, but I'm okay. I mean, look, like I said, the two that he has done are not a bad two to have started with. So it's, at least they're not getting somebody, Morbius director or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if when you hear this director's name, those are typically the two films that come right to mind. I know there was one he did last year. It was called Dumb Money. It was based off this guy who.
Oh, he did that?
Yeah, he did. He directed and produced it. It was about the whole. It was the story about the whole. Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's the story about the guy that really started the stock craze around GameStop when GameStop was dying, and it just took off, and unfortunately made millionaires of some, and a lot of those millionaires kept riding the wave, and then they lost all their money.
That was on Netflix. I saw
it got great reviews, so I did.
Yeah, it did get good.
I'll have to check that out.
So those are his three most recent films: I, Tonya, Cruella, and Dumb Money. Obviously, obviously you've never done a superhero film until you do a superhero film. So I'm interested to see what he can do. However, my reservation is will Gunn give him the leeway to do the film the way he wants to do it, or will we get a report where Gunn says, well, Craig has left to spend more time with his family, or we've have creative differences and he's decided to leave the project, right? We don't want to see that because then it just delays things that fans want to see right? So I'm hoping this works out. I'm hoping he can bring something fresh and new to the table, maybe to the whole comic book movie genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love I, Tanya. I thought
it was
that
a good
movie,
film. It was a good
I
film.
thought that movie was a great. I saw that movie on an airplane, and I was really surprised how good it was. I mean, like I was alive and around when the whole thing went down, and so it was really interesting seeing a comedic take.
That's how I felt about Grand Budapest Hotel. I saw it on an airplane and was like, oh wow, this is really good.
Right. I actually saw Terminator Genesis on a plane too.
Oh my
and
God.
I couldn't wait for that flight to be done. Anyways, I don't know which was scarier, the turbulence or the movie.
The one that really surprised me from Craig was Corella. I did not think I was going to like Corella.
I haven't seen Corella.
Dude, it's actually really good.
Like, I mean, I love Emma Stone, but I'll be honest with you, like it was something that like when it was the people who wanted to watch it. And I was like,
I'm reading here they're saying that actually filming is going to start later this year for this.
Yeah, they're talking about a quarter.
Right after Gunn finishes Superman, they're moving right into the filming Supergirl. Yeah. It doesn't say when later this year, but it does say it within 2024 they will start filming.
Okay. Well, I mean, look.
They're moving fast on this one.
Yeah, at least.
Interesting.
Well, I think that's a smart move. You want to have it follow up pretty quick after.
Well, especially if you're going to especially if he has plans to bring any Superman characters, especially Superman potentially into Supergirl. If he does, at least there won't almost feel like there's an age gap, right? That we see with actors portraying, like we think about Harry Potter. I mean, Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, you see the dramatic, not just him, but the whole cast, right? You see that dramatic age jump between films. Obviously, I think a lot of these films, if you're going to do stuff like this, you got to go the Lord of the Rings route if you can, film back to back, so it doesn't feel like there's this jump with the characters. There's that seamless of how they look.
Well, and it's more than likely that Supergirl will probably cameo at least in the Superman movie too.
Everybody else is.
Right, so I'm sure
unless they make her the credit scene.
Right.
Oh, that'd be good.
Which very well could happen.
Like the mid-credit scene, they somehow tease her, and then we get Supergirl movie next.
Yeah,
probably.
Well, we have.
So that's what we know about Craig Gillespie.
We have exclusive footage from James Gunn's Superman.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
You heard it here first, folks. Here it is.
I was gonna say, at least
Corn Sweat not looking so good in that Superman suit now, huh?
Now that's one I haven't seen in a while.
right. I love that. That's why I'm loving being able to use a drop every once in a while. It's great.
Right.
No, yeah, Supergirl. I'm interested. I'm ready for it. My idea is if they're going to do this world, please go full on in. Do it. Don't tell us about your slate of films. I'm sorry. I'm done hearing about your slate of films. I'm done hearing DC about how there's going to be this movie and there's going to be that movie and there's going to be these people and this faction and this thing. Bullcrap. Just make your Superman movie. Let it be good. And then build off of that. And actually build. Don't stop with all this holding back and second guessing and third guessing and fourth guessing and all of a sudden we make a whole movie and we're not going to put it out. Like whatever. Enough of that.
Yeah.
Let's put that all in the past. Let James Gunn do his thing. Look, if you don't like James Gunn, I get it. I'm tired of talking about it, to be honest with you. It is what it is at this point. For everybody saying, well, James Gunn's not allowing anybody else to do it. No, because he's freaking CEO of DC, and he's got a whole movie franchise coming out. Why in the world would you try to shoot yourself in the foot before you do anything else? And I get it. There is a hypocritical moment here, right? Because the Batman exists. Okay? But there are going to be Elseworlds movies. They've already said that.
Yeah.
Talking about Elseworld franchises is not the same. So let the man do what he's going to do. Stop mocking everything that the man does before he even thinks of it. Okay? And just wait for the movie. It's pretty simple. If you like the movie, great. If you don't want to go see the movie, don't go see the movie. But I guarantee you, a lot of you who spout all this stuff about, I'm not going to go see that movie, I'm not supporting anything, blah, 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 you will pirate it. Which just shows that you really don't care about not seeing it. You're not really, I mean, that's like somebody saying, I'm going to go on a hunger strike, but I'm just not going to eat here. I'll eat in the other room. It's stupid. If you're gonna take a stand and say this is wrong and evil, and you really believe the nonsense that half of you spew, then you know what? Good. Stand on that then. Show me something. Show me that you're gonna do that instead of spouting all this stuff, and then we all know that you watched it. Because you got opinions on it, right? And you're talking about how it sucks and it's awful and everything else, and everybody calling it the flush and everything else. Yet, then once the movie comes out, everybody's like, oh, James Gunn is making a new Supergirl and taking away Sasha Calle. She was our Supergirl. She was the Snyderverse Supergirl. What?
Okay, so let's pause for a second. So I will say this real quick. I was a Sasha fan. I was and am a Sasha fan. But I will say this though. While I wish we could have seen more of her Supergirl, and kind of like how I feel with kind of like the same way. And hopefully I'm back on the show after this next statement. I'm a huge fan of Jared Leto's Joker. Love Jared Leto's Joker.
Why would you? You've been watching this program long enough.
He was not complete disservice by not getting to see his full capacity in that role. Right. And people have judged him on the small bits that the studio changed and gave to us. With that said, I wish we could have seen more of Sasha. I understand why we're not going to. I accept that fact. I will give this Supergirl a chance. I mean, the actress is great. She's been great in what she's been doing, especially with the Game of Thrones spinoff that she's been in. So I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where I'll give it a chance, and we'll see how it plays out. And if I like it, great. If I don't, then I'll watch it, and then I won't revisit it.
Right?
Aren't they two different Supergirl? I mean, as far as like character wise, I'm not really.
Yeah, they are. I just wish we could have seen more of Sasha's version in another film, or maybe like a standalone film.
But again, this is what I will say to that. Hold on, this is what I will say to that. So what I was about to say is, I agree with you on that. I loved Sasha Calle. I had no problem with Sasha Calle. My problem is not with Sasha Calle. I went to go see The Flash. I've seen The Flash several times. I enjoyed Michael Keaton. Sorry, not sorry. I enjoyed Sasha Calle the first time, like when it was in theaters and nobody wanted to admit that they saw the movie. I admitted I saw the movie and said I liked her then. I thought Ezra Miller did a great job playing both roles in that film. There were some quirky things. There were some wonky things in the film. The special effects were kind of weird. The baby thing was weird. There were some comical aspects that didn't tonally match the rest of the universe it was supposed to be in, but it was a Flash movie. And it's not necessarily even the Flash movie that I would have wanted. So don't come at me with, oh, you're just going to buy anything that they sell you. No. It's just that, okay, it's done. And everybody hated on that film. And then all of a sudden, when they had something that they thought that they could use against James Gunn to be able to say, oh, look, he made another Supergirl. Well, duh, it's a different universe. Okay, so what did you think? You were going to just bring her over too? Like, as much as I would have loved to have seen Nerd Coast Nostra, as much as I would have loved to have seen her in her own Supergirl movie, or you know, thrust right into the world of the DCEU with the rest of these characters. There was no place for her to go.
I agree. And like I said, that's why I wish we could have gotten more. I understand why we're not, and I accept that. Just like I accept like that many people still don't.
Yeah.
The Snyderverse is over, everybody. We're not going to see 2 and 3. We're not going to see those films. I'm sorry. I'm a huge fan. I would love to see them. We're not going to see them. Not live action anyways. There's a new regime, and that's just something we have to accept. And there's going to be new iterations of these characters, even after James Gunn is done. Even if he doesn't see his own full visions, through, and they say we're done.
Yeah.
At some point, another director is going to come along. They're going to say, "Hey, we want to do another Superman movie. And then we're going to get another Superman,
right?
And then we're going to go through this cycle again on Christopher Reeve, Superman 78, I mean, it's going to be a cycle we'll constantly go through. But at the same point, we just need, and I'm not saying anyone here is not doing this.
Yeah.
But as a fan base, we need to just be respectful of the fact that we all have our favorites. And it's okay to have multiple favorites.
Right.
I grew up with Superman 78. I love Man of Steel.
Amen,
I love
brother.
them both. And guess what? It is okay to like both because they were both created in different times and filmed completely different. You can't compare something that was done in 1978 to something that was done in the mid 2000s. It's just not going to be the same. The characters, it's Superman, but there's going to be a different version of it. We accept that in comic books. Why are we so willing to accept Superman? So many iterations in comics, but when it comes to live action, we dig our heels in and say absolutely not. Christopher Reeve. Even Christopher Reeve said he was done with the character. He flat out said, "I am done. I am not doing this any further." He didn't even, if I remember correctly, he didn't even really want to do Superman 4.
No,
but he did. Except I don't know if he was contractually.
He didn't want to do Superman 3.
Yeah, I mean,
just
but he
contract,
did.
yeah.
So even he was done with the character. I mean, that says a lot.
I mean, the only
when
way that they got him to
for
come back
such
for 4 was allowing him to have story credit.
Correct.
Because he came up with the concept.
And his two kids were in it, but I think they were cut from the final film too.
And so he was the one who came up with the concept. And so because of that, but they had also promised him that they were going to do a movie on the caliber of the first movie.
Correct.
And,
yeah. So all that to say is, like I said, not to derail, but I mean, the Supergirl, I mean, they have a director. They obviously have a script ready because if they're going to start filming here, I mean, it's already April. If they plan on filming later this year, I mean, that's not that far away. So we'll see.
I mean, we know the script was done like a long time because he was hired last year.
Yeah, I'm just emphasizing the fact that we have a done script. We now have a director. We have a lead actress.
Well, and the
It seems like
reason
they're
I
ready to
asked
go.
earlier about Sasha Kaye was like, there's still potential if they ever do a multiverse thing for her to come back. You know?
Right. All these characters can come
If
back.
James Gunn does Crisis in the future,
James Gunn, the movie Crisis, now has actually something.
All
to
these
work
characters
with.
can come back.
Exactly.
Everybody can come, and it would make sense.
Although probably
imagine?
not Ray Fisher because WB prizes him. You know.
Well, I don't know, but you figure 10 years from now, if they're into this world and universe and they want to do that, then why not?
Exactly.
Like they can do that, and all these actors would actually be age appropriate then, and you know, like it's fine. I wanted to address Integrity because I know Integrity's take on this, but I would say that I disagree with you here, Integrity, and here's why. Because there was a Supergirl TV show. Yes, they tried to put Supergirl in The Flash, and it was what it was, but it wasn't like it ran away with everything. It just was there and then gone. And Supergirl, the TV show, is now just kind of here and gone. And so you figured this is going to be at least a couple years from now. You know, what is it? Did they give a release date yet?
No, it just said they were.
If it's shooting after Superman, my guess
so
is
Superman comes out
probably
25, so maybe this is 2026, 27, maybe, you know, like depending upon when.
I think it's gonna be 27 because we have to keep in mind any
Well, that's
TV
right.
series he wants to release.
Yeah, because we know
Max.
Peacemaker, he's shooting.
Well, also if they're not getting started to the end of this year.
Yep.
Yeah. Because he's shooting. He said he's shooting Peacemaker next to Superman as well. So
yeah.
which has
So
been 2
what I'm saying
months,
is,
so, yeah.
what I'm just saying is here to this. I don't think that it's really a blunder because I think it's just setting up the universe that they're going to be making. I mean, if they're going to be making a universe that they're scoping out over 10 years, then it makes sense for them to introduce a new Supergirl. It may, yes, all be within the space of about 5 years, but I'm okay with that. Like, I don't see that that's like a major problem. And here's the other reason why I don't see that that's a major problem. I agree with you that Sasha's super. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't know that I agree with that. I think for some people it was, not everybody, because it wasn't dead on arrival for me. Yeah, I was excited about her. Lots of people were excited about Sasha Calle. It did not take that turn until a bunch of, let's be honest,
Snyder
people from a certain fandom
wanted
to jump on and they wanted to trash the Flash movie. It didn't matter. They kept I don't care that they went after Sasha Calle, acting like she should not be Supergirl. Like, I mean, you know, like I heard anything and everything in between of what that could or should or shouldn't be. And I will just say, I just don't think that at the end of the day, it's that big of a deal for us to have a couple versions of Supergirl within a 5-year span. And it's obviously a new universe. It's a new world. You know, we're going to be introduced to a lot of characters that we've known before, right? And then we're going to be introduced to a lot of characters that we've never met on screen before. And if you're a DC fan, a real DC fan, why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want a new universe? Why wouldn't you want a universe to be made? I get it. We didn't want a new universe. We wanted the Snyderverse to play out. But again, you know, I had a really back and forth kind of morning, because as I went on Facebook this morning, Facebook reminded me of two things. Facebook reminded me that a couple of years ago, I put out the song Associate Producer. I shot the music video for. And then it also reminded me that I'm getting divorced. And I was like, wow, like I had all this stuff from last year and then all this stuff from the Snyderverse stuff from like 3 years ago, like all within my memories, right? And I'm just like, April is an interesting month for me. And so, but that's the thing, is we're in the midst of that, right? Because this is the time of year that the Snyder Cut came out. And let's just be honest. We got a new universe now. Like Nerd Cosa Nostra said, I am resolved. Look, in my song, I even use the phrase "restore the Snyderverse," because at one point I saw paths that could happen. Okay, and that's all I ever said. I know that I had all these detractors who would tell me, "Oh, Enosh is just he's just loves Snyder and he's he throws aside all rationale." And no, I don't throw aside all rationale. I saw legitimate ways that the Snyderverse could continue at that point. I'm not there anymore. As much as like Nerd Cosa Nostra said, I would love to see it. I want it. I would I'd sell half my toys maybe. But you know what I mean? Like it's not an issue of whether we want it or not. It's an issue of like time has passed.
Well, not just from an industry standpoint, but even for the actors and actresses.
Yeah, they've moved on.
Time has passed. I mean, if you look at Ben, for example, I mean, Justice League happened, what was it, 2017? It's 2024.
Yep.
It's been 7 years. I mean, how much more has he done? And then you think by the time they even got if they're even able to get everyone back together, have scripts done for 2 and 3, pre-production, film them, post-production. I mean, you're talking years down the road. And do these actors want to stop what they're doing as they've progressed in their careers to come back and do this, knowing that still WB would still have oversight of what they're doing? And many of them are probably very happy with, hey, I had a great time. I was able to produce something great. The fans loved it. And I've turned the page. I'm on to not a new chapter. I'm on to a new book.
Right.
I moved on to a new book in my professional career. And unfortunately, DC isn't the new book. And even Zach, I mean, he's so focused on, rightfully so, Rebel Moon. I mean,
Right.
Obviously he's having a great time doing Rebel Moon. And it's not just the films that were a part of this deal. There's a lot more. I mean, we've seen already some of the comics. There's a lot more coming with this universe. And I don't think he's going to step away from this, nor Netflix is going to want him to say, hey, I want a break to go do this for DC. I don't see that being plausible. As much as I would love to see that story play out, I just don't think it's not gonna happen.
Right. And that, I mean, I think that's enough to say about that, because we just, it is what it is, and people have differing opinions, and that's fine. But we're just where we're at.
Yep.
So transitioning, did anybody else have anything about Supergirl? I mean, we got a director and
nope.
Okay.
Got a director, starts filming it later this year. That's what we know.
Where do I want to go with this? We've been talking about DC stuff, right? So did y'all see what's happening now with the DCEU? Because the DCEU has been sold. Well, part of it anyways.
How are you defining sold?
Sold as in, well, somebody paid to be able to show the DCEU on their streaming service.
So they've rented out the rights.
It's been leased.
Yes.
Easy.
Yes.
So I want to be clear on how we're defining this term sold, because you be careful. You say DCEU
I know.
sold. Man,
there was probably monetary exchange.
Probably.
In terms for service.
I think it's one of those things where they're probably trying to say we want to maybe get these films off the Max platform, get them on other platforms, make money there from people.
And that can only be a good thing, because people will see them that would have never gone to Max.
Yeah, because some of these people, like, if we think about what moved to Disney, what was it, Wonder Woman and the Shazam movies? I think both 1 and 2 are moving to Disney Plus. So you have an audience who probably has Disney Plus who doesn't have Max.
Right.
And now they'll be able to watch these. So Disney's paying to put these films on their platform. They're going to get exposure. You might get fans saying, "Oh, what's DC got coming? I'm interested in DC in general."
Right.
But you could find yourself in a situation where it's like, well, I want to see, this Wonder Woman. I want to see this Shazam, and then find out, well, they're no longer around. You're going to eventually get either none or new ones at some point, which then could cause an issue. But I also think the ultimate goal is to get these older DCEU films off the Max platform to make room for James Gunn's universe of his TV, like Peacemaker 2, his TV shows, his films. So the sole focus on the Max platform is his universe, and start farming out the others and still make money off of them through licensing.
Well, they are farming them out. I mean, a lot of these movies just did a stint on some of them are still on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah.
And so this was the natural progression for that. And then before I say this, Integrity, you're hilarious. He says, "I'll be on my deathbed like Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 is."
I'm sure there's a version of me in another universe that's enjoying Justice League 2 and 3.
Yes, there is someone in the multiverse, and you know what? I hope that heaven is that for you, Integrity. I really do, because if anybody deserves it, it's you, bro. Okay, so anyways, what I was saying though about that is that no, I think you're right. It's definitely a slippery slope, because it could go one of a few different ways. What I feel is the thinking behind it is, well, in the story, in the article that it was talked about, it was mentioned, Zaslav talks about how, like, how you want to start, licensing out these properties and stuff. He didn't say anything about like making room on Max. He said that these movies will always have a home on Max. Right. So I think what we'll see is continuation of what we're seeing right now, is that a lot of these movies will leave and they'll come back, and they'll leave and they'll come back. But I think that maybe, because the question is like, well, what is Disney's play in all this? Right. Like, why is Disney bringing on on 3 DC films to their platform when they own Marvel? And I think this goes to show you that, one, it ain't about Marvel and DC. Okay, all these people who like want to draw these lines and act like, that's what's on everybody's mind. It is not what's on. Money is on the minds of everyone involved. And before anybody goes, well, that's all they care about is money. Yes, because they're in business.
That's what business do.
The next time somebody tells me, "Oh, that's all they care about is money," James Gunn only cares about money. Yes, because he is the CEO of DC Films along with Peter Safran. And guess what? You don't like it? Why don't you go to work tomorrow for free? You're passionate about what you do, aren't you? You just love it so much. Do it for free. Oh, I'm sure a lot of people would say, "Oh, man, if I was doing that, I'd do it for free." You can't. You cannot.
Nothing in this world's free.
Right. There's a trade-off to everything. I love to stream, but guess what? It's not my job. Right? So it's what I'm doing out of my free time. Right? So, and that's how the world works. I don't know why people act like when it comes to this type of stuff, like the world changes, but it doesn't. These businesses are businesses. It's exactly what they are. They're studios. They are executives. They literally have made decisions in one day about more money than most of us will ever see in our entire lifetimes combined. Okay? So when it just comes down to it, it's like Disney is bringing these films onto their platform. So what does that mean? Well, I think you got to look at the films first of all that they're bringing on, right? They're bringing on Wonder Woman. They're bringing on both Shazam movies. Those are two very family-friendly movies and one movie that is just a really great movie, right? And would still be considered very family-friendly. So it's going to be obviously very attuned to Disney's platform. But also, do you think maybe has anything to do with James Gunn?
Or could it be breaking news? We'll see a Marvel DC crossover.
No.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I love every time that comes up and somebody sends that to me and thinks it's real. Like I swear to God.
I just laugh at that every time.
While based on what you just said, there would definitely be a lot of money there to be made. Too much ego would cancel out any chance of that ever happening.
Things being side by side is one thing. Things being together is a whole other story.
Yeah, I agree. I think it just comes right down to the balance sheet. It's all about money. It's all about what we pay to bring these over to our platform. What could we see on the return of that, right? That's what it's going to boil down to. And obviously they saw something in those numbers that say, yeah, we're willing to pay X fee for these 3 films to bring on our platform because we believe this is the return we're going to see from our viewer base. So obviously there was some financial sense there to be made. That's why they did it.
Right.
And we'll probably see more of it going forward. I mean, who knows? We could eventually see some of the older Marvel films cross over to Max. Who knows? This might just be a stepping stone to see, hey, how does this play out? Where we say, the first Iron Man movie or Incredible Hulk and the first the first
the Hulk was on HBO before. Yeah, it was.
The Incredible Hulk with Edward.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't.
It was like the Hulk. I believe the.
But imagine bringing over like Phase 1 over to Max, right? I'm just saying,
William, I want to clarify what I was saying. I didn't mean that James Gunn had something to do with it. I'm saying though, I think though that somebody like James Gunn and the relationships that he has with Disney, and now that he is the CEO of DC, that absolutely plays a part in the way that the two companies are going to see each other.
To coexist.
To coexist like that. Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, James Gunn was a very important part of the DCU, or excuse me, not the DCU, the MCU. He was a very integral part of that with Guardians of the Galaxy and his trilogy, and it's very beloved. And so, he's got great relationships over at Disney. And, I love the people, God bless their hearts, that were like, oh, Marvel sent James Gunn over here to Disney to, cause chaos and ruin movies and films and stuff. Like somehow they perpetrated a deal for James Gunn to get hired.
Yeah.
And be totally in charge of DC. That was the plan all along.
What's crazy is the guy who fired him was the one who signed him again for Warner Brothers for DC to direct the Suicide Squad. So it's funny. It was very funny.
Yeah, no, I get it. But yeah, it's kind of comical to me because as much as people have been like, so much, sell the Snyderverse.
Deadpool's on Max either. Damn.
Oh yeah, Deadpool's on Max. Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, it's right. It's right on my main page. But yeah, But I just find it interesting, right? Because like everybody's been like, oh, they can do this, they can do this, they can do this, and then they don't do that. They take it off of Netflix and put it onto Disney. Maybe it's just me, but that is comical to me. And you know what, Rhea, you mentioned that we have 23 viewers. That's 23 viewers on YouTube. Actually, right now, we have 90 viewers total. We got 65 people watching on Twitter right now. So that's awesome. And then the 24 that are here. So thank you guys so much. We're so glad to have you guys here. And if you're watching on Twitter, we're glad that you're on Twitter. maybe come on over to YouTube before you're done and like just give us a little like, and let us know that just to let the algorithm know that we're still around. But it's good to see you all. But please just hit that like button. But yeah, maybe it's just me, but I just think it's funny that they actually move it to another one, and that the next one is Disney, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people who are like freaking out over that.
I'm still going to go to bed tonight the same way I normally do.
Right.
Won't change anything for me.
Also, WB has a deal with Tubi to bring all the DC movies there as well. So,
to Tubi?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
They announced like a couple months ago. I was like, oh, interesting. I mean, Tubi is more popular, so.
Well, it's free. So
yeah, it's free, and you can watch it anywhere. So.
True that.
Yeah.
True.
So I'm not sure. So I'm not sure if we're still on this topic or not. Shall we? Because I know something else came up. I'm not sure if you want.
Yeah, sure, man. If you got something else, absolutely.
Yeah. So obviously, like we mentioned earlier, it seemed like a lot of news, industry news, was dropping this afternoon, and it seemed very odd. It was all happening around the same time. So, Fantastic Four news. They casted Silver Surfer with Julia Garner, who many people probably know her from Ozark. Played Ruth. From that series. I love Ozark. That's what she's done. I know she's done other things. I'm not saying that's all she's done, but I think a lot of people probably will recognize her from that show, because I know that was a very popular show. I loved Ozark. That was a great show. But I think that's where most people will find that connection. But yeah, she's been cast as a version of Silver Surfer, and will be in the Fantastic Four.
His love interest, that's his love interest, which she became Silver Surfer in the comics as well.
Yeah. So discuss.
That's not bad casting. I guess DC
I'm
and
not
Marvel
that
is gonna be
personally in, but like, can we get the original Silver Surfer first?
That's set in the MCU. Like, it's the ultimate. Like, this is not good to clearly because they don't exist in the MCU. So going from a different version, and and that she's playing his love interest, which she is the Fantastic Silver Surfer in the comics as well.
But like, can we get the original one first?
But we don't know though. But we don't know that we're not getting that though.
True.
Because it's also been said that this Fantastic Four is coming from another universe.
Yeah,
right.
Not,
so who's to say that this Fantastic Four doesn't start off in another universe where this is Silver Surfer, and they end up here with a different Silver Surfer?
Yeah,
true. You know what I mean? Like I'm just thinking of like how it could be. Like, look, I get it. There's going to be the initial shock, and this has been talked about for a while. But there's that initial shock, right? Of oh my gosh, it's a woman. But there has been a woman version of Silver Surfer, and we don't technically know what the story is. But I get it. Look, if they just throw her in there, Austin, yeah, man, I get it, right? Like it's like where's our Silver Surfer, right? And you can't just go, well, we already had a movie with a Silver Surfer in it. No, because like we're like Integrity said, we're getting 3 Supergirls in like 3 years, so shut up.
Right.
By the way, I've never heard Integrity speak that I know of. So that was not a verbatim interpretation of
not an accurate depiction of
that impression was not probably spot on.
Probably not. But yeah, I don't know, man. A lot is riding on this Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They gotta get this one right.
It has to be good.
Oh, you know what, man? I know. You know what? I take that back. You have been on the show once. That's right. You were on once. I do remember that now.
Was it? I can't remember.
But yeah, no. So I'm just saying about this. Like, they only have one shot, I think, to get Fantastic Four right. If they screw this up.
Well, and RJ brings up a good point in the chat. If the rumors are true and this Fantastic Four movie takes place in an alternate universe before it gets merged with the MCU and Secret Wars, I think it'd be fine, as far as this character and casting of this.
It's almost like somebody just said that on this very broadcast.
Almost, but not 100%.
Maybe not
Not 100%.
verbatim like this, but I said something about them. They're coming from another universe, RJ. I said that. Stop trying to copy me, all right, bro? Just stop. Don't do that.
Stealing ideas, homie. You have to file suit.
Stealing my ideas, bro. I'll look you right in your eye, bro. It's been a while, but I will do it. No, so okay.
But yeah, they got to nail this. This is I think this might be their last chance with Fantastic Four. If they got to hit this one out of the park.
Right. So I agree with RJ. Obviously, I think that was that's something that like that'll work if it's something like that. But if for some reason this is just it, I think it's a misstep. And I think that it's a step away from what they were just Bob Iger was just talking about this very thing, that like they cannot, if they're just trying to make a point or whatever by saying, oh, Silver Surfer is going to be a woman. Bob Iger literally just did an interview where he said, we got to get away from trying to make statements and just make good movies. And that's what they should have been doing all along. To be honest with you, I don't understand how we got off on these other things. But you know, like I think anybody says, like, I don't care if you gender swap a character if it makes sense, you know. And obviously there is a Silver Surfer in the Marvel universe that is a female, so it makes sense. But you can't just change these characters and think that everybody's just going to be happy with it. So. You know, I am live. I love all the people coming in right now saying that. Hey, what's up, Justin Proper? And then Black Star Afro 2 says, am I watching a replay of Poindexter Lounge? Someone pinch William really hard because I see Enosh. Yeah, it's me. And we're live. So, yeah. Bob Iger says a lot of things these days, though. Yeah, but you know what? He's still there, man. Enosh, who are you? RJ, you Enosh, not
Who's
me.
You?
Wait, no, not me. You, RJ. Yes, I'm you, Enosh. Stop copying. Yep.
Who's who?
I don't know anymore, but you know what?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's from Rush Hour 3.
I don't know.
Oh my god. Funny
I don't know,
movie.
but I mean that. But yeah, so female Silver Surfer.
It's a female Silver Surfer.
I'm open to it. Let's do it. But my broader want is just get the Fantastic Four film in general done right.
Right.
Let that. I don't.
You fell 3 times.
I think this is a great casting.
3 times, yeah.
I'll be interested to see how the story plays out. But let's just get these characters right.
Yeah,
We've tried twice now already, and for me, it just didn't hit a home run for me on the first 2 go around. So I'm hoping this third. But like I said, for me, I'm sure there's plenty of people who enjoyed the first 2 interpretations of the characters that we did see on live action film.
The first one
again,
was
not
decent.
counting the one. I'm not counting the original film from the 70s. I don't count those particular Marvel films.
Yeah.
But I'll be interested. I'm just really hoping this one, and the time period this one's being filmed in, I'm also pumped for.
Yeah, like 60s.
Yeah, it's like the 60s or 70s. It's not in like modern time. So I'm definitely pumped for the time frame because I love that time frame in general. So
true. Joe, who couldn't say that they could bring back Doug Jones as Silver Surfer in a multiverse movie? Like, he still could come back. Like man, like he still provided the voice and everything. Well, Fishburne provided the voice, but he played the character. He still could come back, and it's the multiverse. Like any version of Silver Surfer could be in it.
Yeah, I'm
99 viewers, by the way, folks. 99 viewers right now.
On X.
I'm not saying that we won't see that Silver Surfer. Potentially, you know, if we get to maybe like by the time we get to like Secret Wars, maybe that we get introduced to that one as maybe not introduced to it, but they bring that one into the fold. But this might just be the jump off point, right? For the bringing the Fantastic Four, reintroducing them back to the general audience, and then eventually folding them into the broader MCU universe, right? Yeah, like I said, I think I wasn't expecting.
For sure.
I know there had been rumors about this. I never saw the previous rumors about her being casted in this role.
Nope.
But I'm not saying. But I'm not disappointed in the casting. I think she's a great actress.
I
So it'd be
enjoy
very
it
interesting
with
to see what she'll bring to the table.
Facts. 100% agree. He knows his lucky owner you don't have.
Oh, trust me, we are more than prepped and prepared for all things. So
And
yeah,
you know
so this is, I mean, this is what it is. It's we know that the movie's coming out.
I still don't think it's gonna
now
make.
we got this. You know what I'm more interested in is the fact that if we get Silver Surfer, now are we getting Silver Surfer just at the end? Or is Silver Surfer a major player in this? Maybe their universe's Earth gets destroyed by Galactus. And that's what brings them here. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting right there.
That would be interesting.
100%.
So, yeah. So, I mean, you know, anything is possible. It could be, it can be good. It can be good, but I mean, maybe that's what. But again, if it's just a regular story that sees Galactus come, what's Galactus look like? Because I don't think anybody's settling for a big fart cloud anymore.
I know the rumors for Galactus. The actors has been Antonio Banderas, which he's a good voice actor, of course. And
I'm sorry, that would drive me nuts if they did that. And I love Antonio, but you're telling me
Are you saying,
he's
Austin,
gonna
that you
come
do not want me?
Right, yeah.
And also the guy from Dune, forgot his name.
My name.
Austin, are you saying that you do not want me to play Galactus?
Yeah.
I will play Galactus for you.
He does a great Puss in Boots. Like his voice there is good.
I will truly,
So it'll be interesting to see him do another one.
be the best Galactus that you have ever seen. Ever seen. I will be the Galactus that you need. I will be Zorro Galactus. Oh my gosh. It's a show. Wait a second. See, this is what I love about having studio shows instead of being in the car, right? Because stuff happens in the studio shows that I can actually like acknowledge and do. Folks, it's a show now. It's a show, and you know why?
Acknowledge me.
No, it's a show. I'm trying to find the drop. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find the drop. Because this is great. Where's the drop? Oh, here it is. Here he goes.
Whoa! I think we got a show. Oh, yeah, we got a show. We definitely got a show. Oh, yeah, there's a show.
The Plunger is here.
Oh, God.
For those of you who don't know who the Plunger is, the Plunger. Oh, hey, Austin.
The echo.
Yeah, hold on a second. Yeah, if you could mute, that'd be great. Thank you, bud. Obviously, talk whenever you want to talk, but you know, for those of you who don't know,
that guy that DLC in the chat.
For those of you who don't know who the Plunger is, the Plunger came about one night because Matt Jarbo was on here telling a story about how he broke a plunger in his toilet, and immediately the Plunger showed up in the chat, and yeah, we all know Plunger. You've seen some things, man. We know. We're very aware, unfortunately. But it's good to see you, Plunger. That's awesome. Oh, okay. But back to the topic at hand. Galactus. Any thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot the guy that DLC in the chat. Can I pronounce his name? He was also in Dune. That he's also rumored to play Galactus. So yeah, that's only been the two rumors active so far. So yeah, whoever they get, I mean, hopefully, if it's either Antonio or Barndare for Galactus, I'll be up for it. So
Do we at a first go with this film, do we feel we need more than one villain?
No, Galactus will be fine. No more. Unless if you want to do an opening scene when they when the team first assemble and they take down their first villain, sure. But other than that, I'm fine with Galactus. Like he hasn't been done good. Like last time we saw him, he was a giant cloud,
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was.
I would just hate to see like an overabundance of villain, and it kind of deters from the story, especially when you're trying to bring these characters back into the fold, right? I don't want them to lose focus of the Fantastic Four, where the villain now becomes gets all the attention. I really want them to focus on the Fantastic Four characters themselves, while at the same time having a villain that's worthy of being in the film. So.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I love you, Fourth 1000. That's great. That's great. Yeah, they're not doing a solo. 99 people, by the way. 99 viewers.
Yeah, that would be dumb. Like
that's hilarious.
Like that would be dumb doing a solo
hilarious.
movie for each member. That is ridiculous. Now let's do a movie for each member of the Fantastic Four. No, maybe Silver Surfer, that will work.
World
building. No,
world building.
Nah.
So was there something else?
That's it.
I think those were. I mean, we had that additional topic. I think those were all the core topics that at least I saw come out throughout the day today.
Austin, was there something else that I sent you? No, that was it.
There's the Superman Ultraman name.
Oh,
that's been talked about a lot, as far as online.
The rumors about that. Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull that up.
Is Corn Sweat playing Ultraman, which could be a version of Bizarro or some. But yeah, the rumor is Lex is already cloning in the movie, and Corn Sweat could possibly be playing like an evil version of Superman, which I think is an interesting. I do like the idea, like to kind of address head on like evil version of Superman and good version of Superman in the same movie.
Okay, so I'm just going to point something out here about this story in general. Here, let me pull this up. Well, I guess there's Looper, but that's not even like. I'm just talking about the sites that are apparently sharing this. Okay, and first of all, don't judge me on this. So James Gunn's Superman. Can you guys all see that? Yeah, I got that up.
Yeah, 55 minutes ago. Blooper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So James Gunn's Superman movie villain may be an evil clone. News about James Gunn's Superman, Ultraman, James Gunn's Superman. That's okay. So this is Looper and blah blah blah. Here's the
first
thing.
one probably. Yeah.
Here's the thing about this though. Here's the problem with this. Ultraman. Since when is Ultraman a clone?
I guess from the rumors that it's supposed to be Bizarro, but James Gunn changed his name to Ultraman. So, because that's what the rumor is. I don't know if it's true or not, because Bizarro been used multiple times in live action. Superman Lois did it last season 1 and 2, I believe, and a little bit of season 3, and then
Lois and Clark
Supergirl did it. Lois and Clark, and then Smallville did it. And then I guess you could say Christopher Reeve did it as well.
I mean, there was Evil Superman, which I think is funny because if they're going for Evil Superman first thing out the gate, when literally the last universe was panned for having Evil Superman, unless you're just trying to make some point where you have good Superman beat up Evil Superman just to drive the Snyderverse into the ground. I don't know.
Why
does everything freaking come back to the Snyderverse? I don't know.
Yeah, unless he's doing
stuff.
Unless if James Gunn is doing a commentary of evil superheroes that's been Superman clones, something like that. That would be I don't know.
But Ultraman is not. But Ultraman is not a clone.
Yeah, he's from Earth 3 on the crime syndicates, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, Cherie is right. He's an alternate universe of Superman from the crime syndicate.
He's one of the antimatter characters of Superman. Mm-hmm. So, which Anthony just mentioned is part of the crime syndicate of America, where Alexander Luthor, who is the antimatter of Lex Luthor, is involved. So, I think it even opens the door. Are we eventually going to then open the door to Crime Syndicate of America in live action from James Gunn.
I could see it. I mean,
I'm just saying. I mean, it starts opening those doors when you start bringing. If this rumor turns out to be true, he starts to set, I guess, like a tone for potentially bringing those stories in. If it turns out to be true.
Yeah, thank you.
But I could be wrong, but I don't know enough about the character to confirm whether or not he's actually a clone from the various comics he's shown up in. Because he's as Anthony mentioned. Oh, it looks like we lost him. Earth 3, and then he was in the post-crisis Earth 3 story, New 52. He was in that story. I think he was in a couple others.
See, Elsa, I'm with you on this. I would be totally down for
Brightburn. That was such a great film. That was an
I
amazing
would love
film.
it, bro. Please give us a sequel. Please, man. I know James is a producer on that, but please tell your brothers to do another sequel, please. Like, damn.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
they did a great setup for the other characters in those movies.
Right.
Please.
Cherie, I'm down with it. I'm with you on this. As far as, I'd be down for an alternate universe story. It's just kind of strange, though, that he's never been a clone. I have never heard a story. And look, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'll definitely take that correction. But I've never heard of a story in which Ultraman is a clone of Superman. He's always been the alternate universe of Superman. He's part of the crime syndicate.
Yeah.
And he's on a world where the good guys are bad guys and the bad guys are good guys. I mean, it's like like Nerd Coast Nostra just said, it's the negative verse, right? And so it's all the opposite stuff. So it kind of throws me off. This story kind of throws me off anyways, hearing that it could be a clone. Especially when we just hit 100 viewers, folks.
Unless he starts using because the Superboy wasn't Superboy from Reign of Supermen. That was a clone that Lex Luthor created. So unless he somehow brings a bit of that story into this, but then creates Ultraman, right? I'm just saying we know he did that clone of Superboy,
right?
Just
saying that's Connor Kent.
I agree. I'm just saying
No, I know. I'm not yelling at you.
I know. I'm just saying like the concept of
Nerd Cosa Nostra. I swear to God, you and what's his name earlier, RJ.
RJ and I are going to form our own syndicate.
Oh
no! I mean, he could be bringing the concept of cloning that Lex Luthor has done in another story and bringing it here to then this Luthor to create Ultraman. To have that alternate, maybe that's the villain. So,
but RJ, here's the thing: if Lex is just cloning again, I mean, we just saw that. We literally just, I mean, I know it wasn't Superman, but we just saw Lex basically try to revive. I mean, you could call it a clone. I don't know what you want to call it. What was Doomsday? He's a clone, right? I mean, like they used Zod's body. And, in DNA and whatever, or Lex's blood and made Doomsday. I don't know. It just, something about this bugs me and something about this just doesn't sit right with me. Like I have a feeling like that this is either really, really fake or it's really dumb if this is true. Like I really, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to see this way. If they're gonna make Ultraman a clone, because then it ruins the fact that James Gunn would do an Ultraman. He would do a crime syndicate thing. I mean, if he's doing the Authority and he's doing creature commandos and everything, James Gunn is the type of person that would venture out into a different universe, and that kind of bothers me then, because if you're gonna say that a clone of Superman is Ultraman, well then, are you closing the door to the real Ultraman? I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Fourth 1000 here though has a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Let's see what can we give you that we haven't given anybody in a while. Well, we're talking about Superman, so let's hear from Superman.
Hi everyone in the Poindexter Lounge. I hope you enjoyed Legends of Tomorrow, and thanks for watching. Thank you.
There you go. Says this Superman movie sounds like an expensive episode from a TV series well into season 3. We're doing alternate Superman villains already. If it's true, right? If it's true, I get the point. I absolutely get the point. Set up the universe, man. Yeah, I don't know, man.
I would have liked to see Brainiac. Like, come on, give us Brainiac. I want to see him. Give me McTallow, whatever.
I'm okay with holding out on Brainiac at least for a little bit, because look, Brainiac to me he's not just a Superman villain. He's a Justice League. Like you introduce him as a Superman villain, and then he comes back harder each time. Like. So I'm okay with it. He's kind of like a Thanos. He's a big bad of the universe that you wanna build towards.
Okay. Let's look at this. Let's read this real quick and see exactly what it says. According to new reports about James Gunn's upcoming Superman film, an alternate version of Superman known as Ultraman will appear in the DC universe as the creation of a major supervillain. Scooper at Can We Get Some Toast? I know I've been out of the game for a while. Is this a person?
Oh yeah, she's a scooper that been around for like a year and a half so far. So.
Oh, yay, joy.
Okay.
Yeah, so totally trustable and you know, yeah, okay. They're Scooper.
She's been getting Marvel stuff right. DC. I don't know. I don't know if she got stuff DC right stuff.
Well, I don't know anything about him. So, anyways, but the reports that Ultraman, the Twisted Earth 3, so it was Earth 3, Man of Steel, and member of the Crime Syndicate villain team, is allegedly set to make his live-action debut in Superman. The paywalled Instagram report, of course, because Scoopers all have to put their stuff behind it.
Yeah, because they have people, they get people. Yeah. It's easy to make easy, quick cash.
I know. Yeah. Anyways, reports say Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult, will successfully clone Superman, David Corenswet, in the film. However, instead of creating Bizarro, who was previously rumored to appear in the movie, the U logo-wearing Kryptonian clone will be a much deadlier version of the hero. Multiple versions of Ultraman have appeared since the Crime Syndicate of America made its first comic book appearance pre-crisis in Justice League of America 29. Ultraman led the evil super team along his world's analogs of popular heroes, including Johnny Quick, which was the alternate version of the Flash, Owlman,
Batman.
Power Ring. I always thought that was the worst name.
That is the worst name you could ever give a Green Lantern. Like Power Ring. That sounds like a Power Ranger. It sounds like a Power Ranger villain.
Power Ring, like that was weird. Yeah, I always thought that was weird.
And
Superwoman and Superwoman,
Power Ranger,
Wonder Woman,
Power Ring. Like, come on.
I don't know. I mean, it's what he wears.
I like
right?
that name.
So the team sparred with the Justice League and Justice Society of America before being wiped out during the Crisis on Infinite Earths arc. The team was reintroduced in DC Comics for the New 52 era, playing key parts in the Forever Evil and Darkseid War events. More recently, the Crime Syndicate returned with Ultraman and some of its members teaming up with Amanda Waller in her ongoing quest to take down the Justice League. That's a cool picture right there of Ultraman. That's kind of cool. Let's see. Still very much a relevant. Yeah. Still very much a relevant comic book villain. Ultraman's most recent appearance in Adventures of Superman, John Kent, saw him becoming the ultimate Superman killer. The Kryptonian powerhouse jumps dimensions and tries to murder every alternate version of the Man of Steel in the multiverse, while successfully siphoning their powers and using them for his own nefarious gain. John Kent's Superman fights to stop him, even though he fears the man who previously kept him imprisoned and away from his family for years. Despite Kent nearly defeating Ultraman, his father's evil doppelganger comes close to killing the young hero before the Injustice version of Superman shows up and saves John, believing that he is the son that he lost, which initially put in motion the dark alternate Superman of Earth 49. Injustice Superman makes sure to end Ultraman's reign with pure violence, snapping his neck and ruthlessly killing him, showing how far the Injustice villain will go in his quest to save his son. It takes one of the most powerful Supermen in the multiverse and numerous deaths of Superman across space and time to stop Ultraman. that's just because they wrote him that way. He was never okay, whatever. Which shows why he's so feared in many different realities. Is he really? Is he really, or is he just bad guy Superman?
Oh, he's not. You could easily kill him if you wanted to.
I'm sorry. I love Ultraman. I love the Crime Syndicate, but we're really high. I feel like I'm reading like Black Adam articles from last year. His return is inevitable as the character is too frightening to be dead in the comics.
Put him up like he's this big bad, like he's not.
Right. If he does show up in Superman, as the new reports suggest, it's safe to assume Ultraman's popularity will spike, and there will be plenty of renewed interest around his potential return to the page. So here's my thoughts on that. I guess, I mean, if they do it, I don't agree with it being Ultraman. But on top of that, I'll be honest with you, I don't. That's kind of weird. Some of the things that they're saying in there, I mean, trying to hype him up like he's. I don't know. Like I said, I felt like I was reading stuff being said by The Rock from last year when he was going to play
He's
Black
co-producing.
Adam. Is he co-producing this movie?
No. Breaking news. After WrestleMania, he's going to co-produce.
Right. I mean, I'm just saying, yeah, you can paywall on Instagram. You can paywall pretty much any place. We should all just paywall from now on. Let's see. Hold on. Enosh, what's to say? Hey, Chris Joe, you haven't been alive outside the car in forever. Play the guy who throws the food. I have to find that. Hold on a second. And then I saw a super chat down here. Oh, and then Crazy Joe goes, play the guy who throws the food. Oh, I know what he's talking about. I gotta see if those drops are still in here, dude. You know how long it's been. Yep, that dude is still in here. Here he is, just for you, Joe. Thank you for the super chat.
Here's a trick my Nana taught me on how to see if an In-N-Out burger's ready. All you do is throw a little piece at the wall, and if it sticks, it's done. Ready?
Yeah. Then there's, this.
Here's a trick my Nana taught me on how to see if a jelly donut is ready. All you do is throw a little piece at the wall, and if it sticks, it's done. Ready? Here's a trick that Ronald McDonald taught me on how to see if a Big Mac is ready. All you do is throw some up against the wall, and if it sticks, it's done. Ready? Here's a trick my Nana taught me on how to see if a pancake is ready. All you do is throw a little piece at the wall, and if it sticks, it's done. Ready? Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make a nice Thanksgiving dinner. First, get your turkey, then dig in. Ready?
There you go, Crazy Joe. Just for
Stop
you, buddy.
this! Stop this! Why? Why did you do?
That's right, I forgot. That's right, I forgot that you love that.
Asshole is still wasting food. Why did you have to? I've already lost my voice, Enosh. I'm about to scream again. What the heck? Oh my God! His grandma. He lies and says his grandma told him that.
It's not his grandma. It's his nana. It's his nana. It's his nana. Oh, I miss stuff with you guys. Oh, wait, I think we have Ultraman. Wait, I think we have a video of the inspiration for Ultraman in the movie.
This is a job for Superman.
You Superman octopus now.
That's funny. And then there was us. We'll see you in Nerd Cosa Nostra, and then Anthony as well.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, we start playing the funny stuff, and
Bye, everybody. Gosh.
Oh, jeez, just leave. Why? Tell me why. Not the turkey. Yes, the turkey. That turkey. It's Zack Snyder's turkey.
Oh God.
Do I still have the? Oh wait, it's so funny. On this very one, I still have the turkey.
This is painful. Oh, there it is.
There it is. I don't know why I had that set to put up there, but I also have the John Campea logo.
Oh. Well.
Welcome to the John Campea Show, the best darn show on the internet.
And now, if only we had Toby's bulge.
No, we got Mark Uno, though.
Oh, God.
Oh, wait, I forgot about these ones. Hold
Here's
on.
a trick my Nana taught me on how to make a peanut butter and jelly. First, get your jelly, then get your peanut butter. Ready?
This is abuse. This is abuse.
Well, then while we're at it.
Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make your own pumpkin spice latte. First, get your coffee, then get your pumpkin. Ready?
Good God.
Today we're going to be baking Nana's birthday cake recipe. First ingredient is egg, flour, icing. Combine all the ingredients into a batter, and there you have it. Ready?
Or I could be eating this food. This
You're more
isn't
concerned
right.
with eating the food. You're like so concerned with eating the food.
It's not okay.
That's hilarious. Yeah, Crazy Joe. Yeah, if somebody wants to, I can send you one in just a second. Hold on a second. We also got RJ. What's up, RJ?
Hey, what's up, guys? I can't stay for too long.
We're not going to be on too much longer anyway, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to pop in for just a couple minutes to talk about this quick topic with the Superman thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm outside. I don't necessarily hate the idea, although I am concerned if this is true. I get some mad Quest for Peace vibes, you know?
Really?
And a little bit.
How?
You know, Lex clone with the nuclear man
Oh,
stuff.
you know, I didn't even think about that. I mean, yeah, that would be,
But also,
again,
too, rumors,
a
too,
clone
about
of Superman. That's Superman 4.
Yeah, and also, too, the geopolitical nature, you know, with the nuclear weapons and stuff and nuclear warfare. And then you have this movie potentially, like, Superman's dealing with the geopolitical crisis, you know? It makes you wonder, like, are they trying to, like, do Quest for Peace this in a better way? You know? I'm not against that. I like some of the ideas that movie had, you know?
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah. I think this could work, maybe, if he's using Ultraman to kind of be like a meta commentary tropes. You know, that's been kind of like the big proliferation in media. It's like Injustice Superman or Homelander or Omni-Man. Like, kind of like everyone loves the evil Superman. It's like, oh, I've seen the take too. Well, evil Superman's better than normal Superman. That's more interesting. Like, are they gonna do like a meta commentary? It's like the regular Superman's fighting for relevancy by literally fighting an evil version of himself. You know, I don't know.
Destroy Superman. Destroy Superman. I am Freako. That's my favorite line from Superman 4 is when Nuclear Man lands and meets Lex Luthor, and Luthor, you know, tells him, he's like, you're a freak. You know, you're a what's he call him? He says something else, and he calls him Freako. And he starts, I am Freako. I am. And then he says, I am.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's supposed thinks that he's the guy, but
Well,
yeah,
that's what I was going to mention though too. A couple things, right? One, if this is true, that means David Cornsweet's pulling double duties. He's got to play two different characters basically.
in the first movie.
In the first movie, yeah, so that's a big test for him.
Really making him your Superman.
Yeah, it's like, you're okay. Okay, David, you got to show your acting chops, I guess, right out the gate. You know,
right?
But here's the other point I wanted to make. This is the question I had earlier before I dip. If this is true, could you see them like? Because my thought process is, okay, they're basically combining the idea of Ultraman and Bizarro, making them one character, right? So if Ultraman is like the public hero that Lex puts out there for the world to see, it's like a replacement for Superman, right? Could things go wrong and then Ultraman degrades, like the clone DNA degrades and he becomes Bizarro? So you get Bizarro at the end of the movie?
They've done that though.
I know they have, but like, I know it's stereotypical, but I could see that being the case maybe, because people would like to see Bizarro in a movie because he's a bright new villain we haven't seen on the big screen before.
Well, sure,
right? So I feel like they may want to have their cake and eat it too a little bit, where it's like, hey, it's Ultraman, but he's not really Ultraman. He turns into Bizarro at the end.
I don't know. I feel by the time that this movie, I know Integrity is saying here what point is WB going to be paying the fans to go to theaters? I don't think that we're ever going to get there. I think that I mean, even rhetorically, right? I get what you're saying, but I think by the time this movie comes out, there's going to be a lot of love for this film. I think there's going to be a lot. I don't think for a second that they're not going to play into the fact that James Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
A very beloved movie.
Yeah,
series.
that'll probably be all over the marketing, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be all over the marketing. And now you got DC movies going over to Disney. So, like, there's going to be people who are watching some DC movies. They're going to be slowly primed over the next year.
Plus, they can market it too, being like, hey, this is the first stop on, like, a road trip. Because, hey, we got a Supergirl movie that's filming right now. That's coming out right after this. So
yeah. So I get it. I don't like the idea at all. I really hope that this is not it. I really hope that this is not the direction that they're taking, because it doesn't give me a lot of confidence in a universe that you start the universe off and you're already changing characters around. You're already and I get it. There's always going to be those things. I know that that's always going to be the way. So I'm not just being a stick in the mud and just saying it has to be one way. But when you literally have a character named Bizarro, who is just what we all read, and you have a character named Ultraman, who is an alternate version, not a clone, not a degradation from Superman, but an actual person from that universe with the powers of Superman. Why mess with that?
My theory that he's doing it as like a meta commentary. That's like why he's using Ultraman the way he is. Because he's talked about this movie being like a showcase of like Superman, like traditional Superman. Like, does he have relevancy in our modern era? Is that the angle they're going with? Maybe that's why he wants to use Ultraman in this way, the name or the idea of that character, because he is the darker half to Superman. Maybe.
Well, then just make a Bizarro that like you call something, right? And then at
but
some
what
point,
would you call him, right? That's what I was saying, though. Like,
okay, well, I think there's a lot of different things that you could call him as a Superman clone. But first of all, why would you need a Superman clone?
But that's a good point. We don't know what
Is Superman going to die? Why does the public Lex Luthor, who is I'm assuming he's billionaire Lex Luthor, by the way, we're back up to 100 viewers. Thank you guys so much. Across all the platforms, we appreciate you. Why, though, would you need a clone of Superman?
Well, it could be doing it. Maybe Lex is trying to replace Superman with what he can control, or maybe
exactly
Superman. You know?
Yeah, but if you still have a Superman flying around. I mean,
but it's the idea that Lex wants to control it, right? And kind of, the same thing of like, well, this is a Superman we can rely on because I'm in control, because this is the Superman that should be helping people.
I get that, but I'm assuming, okay, now, and maybe this is just like an assumption on my part, right? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just assuming too much here, but I'm assuming that in this world, the public is going to know who Superman is. I'm assuming that this Lex Luthor is probably going to be the billionaire
Lex Corp
version of Lex Luthor, right? With Lex Corp and stuff, who wants to be viewed well in the public eye, right? And goes out of his way to keep all of his underhanded stuff hidden. Why would that guy come out with a new version of Superman? That's an interesting story. And, but why would you need all that at the same time? I don't know. It's a lot of speculation. But I don't know. It's just a weird thing to me that you use Ultraman instead of. By the way, what's up, Crazy Joe?
Hey, I don't believe it. Like I never buy
either.
These,
Something about it doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right. I mean, don't get me wrong. The crime syndicate, those are the kind of characters James Gunn likes.
Yeah.
But I see him like saving them for a Justice League movie or something. Because you've got a counterpoint to every single one of them.
Right. So why wouldn't you do that? That would be, and that I see. I see James Gunn doing a Justice League movie with the crime syndicate. I could absolutely see that. Like, especially a Justice League 1, right? Because you don't necessarily want to go full stakes on that first Justice League movie, right? You just want to show the team coming together and doing their thing. And so I get it. But man, yeah, I'm with you, Joe. I don't know that I agree with or that I believe this.
But as long as we're talking about James Gunn, I'll point out that I am wearing my Guardians of the Galaxy glasses right now.
Ooh.
So yeah,
pull them back up. We didn't see them. They weren't as close. They weren't as close. Look at that. Joe's always got the cool glasses. So we got a $5 super chat here from Fourth 1000. Thank you, sir. Says you make a Superman you can control to frame the real Superman. Then it goes wrong. That would be fine. I could see him doing that using a super, but then like he's not going to have the U then, right? I mean, so I don't know. Like, so then is he really Ultraman? He's not really Ultraman then. If he in name only, I guess. No, I think this is fine. Fourth 1000. That like, yeah, if you clone Superman, you use him to, do something nefarious, to make Superman look bad, and that's a story that's been done several times in many different ways. But okay, so you do that, but then, then Superman, of course, has to clear his name and whatnot. But I don't know. It just seems like a lot, and I don't understand. Oh wait, hold on. RJ says maybe the Ultraman part of the rumor is wrong, but the Superman clone part is. I could see that.
Maybe it's not DC Comics Ultraman. Maybe it's the Jerry O'Connell character from the old sitcom My Secret Identity.
Was he called Ultraman?
Yeah.
Was he really? Okay, here's, what? This is really interesting that this came up because something funny happened to me at not at Meijer, at Walmart just a few nights ago. I'm at Walmart, we're checking out, and this guy who's worked there for years, he's a cashier, and of course there's no, everything's self-serve now. And so we're waiting for the self-serve lane, and this guy comes up to me and he goes, he saw my Superman coat and he thought that was really cool, and he's seen me, I bought toys, from him and stuff. And so he says to me, he says, "Hey, do you know who Ultraman is?" And I went, "Absolutely, I know who Ultraman is." And he's like, "Who's Ultraman?" And so I told him he's, the evil alternate version of Superman from Earth 3. And he goes, No, I don't even know who that is. And he starts talking about some other Ultraman who was in the comics, like from way back, he said, that I've never heard of. So I don't know. But he said he thought it was a DC comic. I've never heard of that. So it could just be some guy talking to me. But
was he talking about the like Kaiju Ultraman?
No, I asked about that too. I'm like, do you mean like the old, serials, like the Japanese thing? He's like, no. He said it was a character that could take on the powers of other people. But that if he took on like Superman's powers, what was it that he said? He said if he took on Superman's powers that he couldn't use them. Oh, he could only use one power at a time. That he couldn't use multiple powers at a time. So he could only have one thing. And I've never heard of that character, but it's interesting that we're talking about Ultraman all of a sudden, because that was a whole conversation that I had with this guy literally just a few nights ago at Walmart. So I've never heard. Has anybody heard of a character named Ultraman that does that? I've never heard of that.
I'm looking it up now on Wikipedia.
Okay.
Other versions. Let's see. Earth 43. Earth 43 is Ultraman. It's a vampire-dominated Earth. Nope, that wouldn't be the one.
Nope.
Then we get to television. Yeah, no. I don't know. It's not coming up here.
Okay. Integrity. So I promise you, I've got a few things that I have to do still. Just to before I start, committing to certain things. I've got a couple things still going on personally that I need to take care of before I start doing, like watch parties and stuff like that. But we're getting there. Okay, I promise you, we are getting there. And the Superman 3 watch party is definitely on that list, my friend.
She missed the greatest watch party of all time.
What was that?
During your little absence, Little Movie Perp and I this past Christmas did a watch party of Rich Little's Christmas Carol, one of the worst Christmas specials of all time.
Wow.
Have you ever seen it?
Well, I don't know. It sounds familiar, and I mean, I'm very familiar with who Rich Little is. Like, very few people nowadays are familiar with who Rich Little is. So, I've seen a ton of Rich Little stuff, and I mean, I'm very aware. And it seems like somewhere in the back of my head is a memory of maybe
it aired every year on HBO back in the early '80s, and it's a one-man show where he plays every role as a different. He plays Scrooge as like W.C. Fields.
Yes.
He plays Bob Cratchit as Paul Lynn. Like everyone, Johnny Carson, his nephew Fred.
Shut up, Josh Gad. I think I have seen that because that sounds very familiar to what I was thinking. So yeah, that he plays like every character and so wow.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's not good.
But at the same time, it's great.
Right. We love those. We love those types of things, right? For sure. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much. I mean, that's pretty much all that we've got, folks, for today. I do thank you all for spending some time with us here at the Poindexter Lounge. A ton of you guys came today. There's still 93 people watching. That is fantastic. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you get a chance and you were on Twitter, because we got a bunch of people watching on Twitter today, and that is just stinking awesome. If you get a chance, come over and give us a little bit of a like over here. But hey, we're just glad to have you all here. What are you up to these days, Crazy Joe? What you got anything coming up that you're promoting?
No, not really. I'm just getting over being sick. I actually haven't done anything in a few days, but no, we got the Crazy Joe's concession stand where I'm doing like some movie talk and Crazy Joe Adventures where I'm going out and doing stuff. I try to update both of them as often as I can, but I'm also working a full-time job and raising 2 kids, and so unlike some people, I got friends who do full-time YouTube. Like my friend Adam the Woo gets a video up every day. I can't do that. Adam doesn't have a family. He can do that.
It takes a lot, man. It takes a lot for sure. But all right, how about you, Austin? You got anything planned?
Nothing so far. Just I'm still getting sick too. So hoping my voice comes back.
All right. Well, hey, we're just going to continue doing what we do right here, folks, and doing it to the best of our ability. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys who stop by and check out the lounge, and thank you guys for all the love that you guys have shown since the return of the lounge. And I'm just glad to be back. I'm glad to be doing this. I'm glad to be here. To be honest with you, after the year that I've had, I'm thankful to be here. And just keep me in your thoughts and prayers if you would. Because me and my family, I will just tell you this: my family and I, the boys are great. The boys are just doing awesome. All 3 of the boys are excellent. Obviously, you guys have met Shayna. Shayna's been absolutely fabulous, and love having her around. And she's been such a healing presence, around all of us. And so she's great, and she's just as sweet as she appears on camera. And twice as beautiful. But I thank you guys. Thank you guys for the support and for the love and for, for sticking around, right? And for coming back around when I came back around. I appreciate it. That being said, like I always say, don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter. And don't tell anybody that their fandom doesn't matter. But seek for the love of God to have some good conversations, right? And just be open and honest about things, because I really feel that like a lot of times that's part of our biggest issue sometimes as fans is we're just not honest. We find the thing that we like, the idea that we have, and well, we kind of close off our minds to everybody else and what they like. And I love what my friend the Goldman said. He's got a great Star Wars channel. If you haven't watched Goldman, really great. Me and him and Dawson actually we need to finish our series of the Star Wars movies because we started doing that, and it was really good conversations. And but he said once something that has stuck with me to this day, and that is, somebody's least favorite, your least favorite Star Wars movie is somebody else's favorite. And as much as we may not be able to grasp that concept of somebody liking the opposite thing of what we like, like I think somebody already made the joke in the chat about Crazy Joe, because Crazy Joe, loves Justice League, the theatrical version. And I know Joe has taken a lot of heat about that, and some just to be funny, and some people just, they're.
I just figure, I'm like that guy who's in the room telling everyone the Earth is round at the Flat Earthers Society meeting. You keep telling me I'm wrong, but I know I'm right.
Well, you may not be right, but you're entitled to your opinion. I love Integrity. He says the worst superhero film of all time is Crazy Joe's favorite.
Batman and Robin is not my favorite.
See, I like Batman and Robin better than the theatrical version of Justice League. It's just got a special. They just announced. I got the figures from Batman and Robin, and they just announced the figures from Batman Forever. I'm kind of surprised that they did them in that order, but they did. And so, I can't wait to get.
You want to hear a Batman and Robin hot take?
What's that?
I truly believe this too. I will die on this hill. George Clooney's Batman costume at the opening of that movie, aside from the nipples, forget the nipples, just look at the rest of it. I think it's the best Batman costume we've ever had on film.
I don't know if I'd say the best, but it is darn good. It's a great, I've got that figure. It's not down here. No, I have that figure, and that figure looks great. But honestly, I mean, both that Batman outfit and Val Kilmer's are both great.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's pretty. It's like you said, except for the nipples.
That's the problem, though. I don't think people can see past the nipples, because whenever I say that, people are like, the nipples, and I'm like, no, forget the nipples. Look at everything but the nipples.
Right. It's not. I mean, the whole outfit is not the nipples, right? So there you go. All right, folks. Well, hey, like I said, don't let anybody tell you that your fandom doesn't matter, but seek to have good conversations, and if you do that, there'll always be a place for you here in the Poindexter Lounge. Until next time, stay nerdy, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.